Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. Uh, yeah. So we are in honor of events in game, and also just because we wanted to. Uh, we have uh, banded together to get a little bit fancy. Um, so as sorry, I can't.
Lucas is stunned by all of our beauty, and
Mhm.
that's why he's pausing.
Exactly. I have difficulty. No, we this is something that we'd talked about doing a long time ago, and then we used the flimsy justification of it being relevant in world to actually do it. So, um yeah. So, um first things first, before we get started, I want to say thank you once again to everybody who showed up last week and joined us and just uh, donated, hung out, shared, retweeted, etc. Um, I still don't I haven't fully processed everything that happened, but for those of you who may have missed it elsewhere, our final total raising funds for the Bail Project was 1630. So we uh we crushed our goal by quite a lot. So thanks once again, everybody. Um, yeah, everybody, we got fancy tonight. So
Thank you, Resident Bard. It is a nice tie, isn't it? Found it in my closet. I don't know where it comes from.
the closet, obviously, it came from
I
your
guess,
closet.
yeah.
Um,
It creates ties.
exactly.
Spontaneous
there's like a
generation.
3D printer in there that only creates
It's a
ties.
spawner. It's a spawning point for ties in the real world.
Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to quickly get that out and say that because that was just a huge last week was a hell of a production on our end, and y'all made it worthwhile. So thank you. Um, I don't know. Do we have anything else that we need to talk about before we get started, or do we just go? Do we just do this thing?
We'll do it live.
All
Here we
right.
go.
I think we just go. All right, we're going. Here we go, everybody. We're gonna get tonight's game rolling since there's a lot to get through tonight. So, without any further ado, let us begin with tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon.
Some will say this is the end. We're surrounded, but we won't give in. No. Who will save us? Who will save us? Sometimes you gotta let it go. Leave it up to the hero. Who will save us? Who will save us? When the truth's in the shadows. All hail to the heroes. They're gonna save us. Yeah, save us. Yeah, save us today.
And we're back. Okay. So, previously on Infinite Horizon, sorry, I just got distracted because I was second guessing whether or not I should put on the music. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the thing. Oh, that's way too loud.
Very intense.
Okay,
I love
that's
it.
also not the one that I wanted anyway, so it's just as well that it. There we go. Okay, so, previously on Infinite Horizon, the crew, following up a lead on this artifact that they've been tracking down, um, ended up in a place called Marauder's Landing, a place whose name is very descriptive, um, as being basically a haven for pirates, for smugglers, for criminals of all varieties. Um, Marauder's Landing is known as a pirate metropolis, and it lived up to its name. The group made their way there, following up some leads, tracking down Captain Desiree's former crew, and tracking them all the way to the warehouse district, where they encountered. They found the warehouse where supposedly some sort of deal was going to go down, where the crew of Captain Desiree was to unload their ill-gotten gains. Unfortunately, they arrived too late. Through a premonition of Peaches, they found that the deal had already happened, and so in search of playing with sound. In search of some another lead, they wandered to a local watering hole, which Mason had remembered from his time investigating places such as this in the Border Worlds. They went to a local watering hole called Moe's, where they sat down, had a few drinks, and Bina promptly defused a pretty tense situation where an Orzai man and a Lumnian man were beset by some thugs who were threatening violence against them, and at which point Bina just immediately rushed in and talked them down, both sides.
We had places to be. We didn't have time for a fight. We had to go.
No bar fight today.
So, skillfully avoiding the tropes of such a setting, the crew sat down with the grateful pair. The Orzai, who introduced himself as Orie Odo, and his companion Rukk, who, in talking with them for a bit, they found that they may actually have a lead for the whereabouts of the artifact, as well as perhaps Desiree's crew. He said that they would be found at an auction that was hosted by the Duraga gang, a gang of ferocious pirates that seemed to be far more organized and well equipped than other standard pirate gangs. Adding also that there are rumors that this Duraga gang might actually be in the pocket of a shadowy organization known as the Dealer's Court, one whose very existence is still up for debate. However, this auction was a very real thing, and Orie speculated that this might be the location they could find not only what he was looking for, but also the artifact that the crew was tracking down. In exchange for their assistance in acquiring the goods that he was looking for, Orie offered a fully formed plan to create to go for a heist situation. Oh man, sorry, I just got very excited that John bought an Infinite Horizon tee. I did not realize that we had an alert for that, but we apparently do. So,
Yeah.
So, Orie, with his fully fleshed out and totally foolproof plan to infiltrate this auction, and the others ready to do anything that they had to track down this artifact, they got on board Awakener and took off. And I believe when you said that you were making your way back to Derilia, the world where you first encountered Captain Desiree and began this sort of expedition.
We're back to Aurelia 3. We're going to buy fancy clothes. We're going to talk to the professor. And then I have heist in all caps. It's an underline.
Excellent.
So that's
our
when
to-do
we left
list.
off. It's our to-do list, yeah.
All right. So, we will actually start back on Derilia 3. In fact, we'll cut far enough so as to. We'll say that for the sake of this, probably the most secure location that you could be doing this is on Awakener herself. So we'll cut to Olam standing at the top of the boarding ramp as you're lowering it for the professor, who is sort of making his way up into into the ship, sort of staring up at it admiringly, kind of wearing, you can see multiple satchels, kind of crosswise across his body, as the older Anzalonian man steps up into the ship. He says, "This is your ship, I see. Uh, it's quite a magnificent vessel, I'd say."
Yes, it's a pretty special thing. It's gotten us through a lot already.
Yes. Well, your communication didn't say too much. So did you manage to find the artifact, or?
Well, sir, no, not quite. Well, yeah. Well, we think we know where it is. We don't have our hands on it yet. There's a few more steps, but I think we have it under control more or less. We've got a plan, some new friends, and we should have it back soon.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I think that I am. If it's all right with you, I'd like to remain, well, at least relatively close to all of this during this time. The less delay there is between your acquiring the artifact and my getting to study it, I think the better. So perhaps, if you wouldn't mind, I will tag along.
Oh, it would be an honor to have you on board our vessel or for any part of this journey. I just fear that we have a tendency to end up in dangerous situations, and I just want that to be clear. I don't want you walking into anywhere that wouldn't be safe for you.
He kind of smiles and just sort of puts a hand on your shoulder. He says, "My boy, you are aware that we are in the border worlds, yes? Every single moment out here is this. Oh no, we lost Freeman.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. All right.
Mason is hidden. He's taking a.
Hold up. This is going to require some messing around with the overlay. Hold on. I'll switch us back, and nobody's going to be in the right to this one, and nobody's going to be in the right spot.
There's some technical difficulties.
Technical
Now is a
difficulties.
good time to go check out the bail fund near your city and
Yeah.
donate if you're able.
Yeah. We'll get this handled as quick as we can.
Yeah, apparently Freeman got kicked out of the call.
very
no.
helpful. Zoom, thanks.
Yep, just fantastic. Sorry, I'm currently quickly rearranging everybody. There we go. All right. That should do it. All right. So, he'll be back in a second, hopefully. Off to a good start. So,
First, we heist Freeman back.
there we go. Yeah. All right. So, he says, "Well, I think I'm going to. Is there somewhere I can set up?"
Absolutely. Here, and I lead him to one of the quarters or whatever that is free.
Okay. At the moment, this is a thing that we have figured out. There are no open bunks left.
You could take him to where the galley, and he could sit at the kitchen table kind of situation.
Is anyone staying in the half quarters by the bridge?
Or some of us could just, double up, maybe.
Okay, I start to lead him towards, and then some of this is going. I'm like, let's see, Professor. We seem to be bunks are all full. Let me. And then I guess I.
Actually, come to think of it, there's probably one free bunk, considering that Patch won't let Abriel out of medbay.
Oh.
So she's kind of just been sleeping in there on a cot that was brought to her. So there actually might be one free bunk.
I show him to Abriel's bunk.
Okay.
Oh.
Is that I make sure to put new sheets on it and stuff and clear it off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm hand wringing and nervous as I'm making stuff up to the standards of an august academic.
All right. Well, yeah, he thanks you and just sort of begins settling his stuff down. He just sort of seating himself on the edge of the bed, just sort of looking around, and then just immediately pulls out his bag and starts sorting through his stuff. Your presence apparently forgotten.
I just kind of I stand with my hands like this, just watching him for a sec, and then sort of I say, make yourself at home. There'll always or usually be somebody in the bridge if you need anything.
He nods and says, "Yes, of course. Thank you." So, sorry, 1 second. I have to do a thing real quick. Because Freeman is apparently unable to open anything on his side.
Oh no.
Zoom crashed and Discord won't open.
Yeah.
We're struggling today.
Uh-huh.
So how many hours do we have until we're doing this heist? How much time to prepare?
It is soon. It is within the next couple of days.
Sorry, keep doing technical stuff. I was just gonna.
Yeah. I am hopefully working on getting Freeman. All right. So in the meantime, as this is all happening, we I'm sorry. This is the downside of having to wear all the hats simultaneously. What is it we said earlier today in Writer's Room? That we at Rule of Lore, we wear many hats, oftentimes without taking the time to remove one before adding another.
It's just hats all the way down. It's like 20 hats stacked under a trench coat. And that's how we operate here in Rule of War.
Yeah.
It's a good code of conduct.
Yeah, exactly.
Code of conduct.
Code. Yeah. Boo.
Terrible. Boo.
Boo. And that's our stream tonight. We booed Caitlin and then we ended.
All right, I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
No, what if our ship crashes?
See, now you want me back. Now you need me for flying things. Actually,
right.
Alma can fly, so
We
you're
need
probably
Bina
fine.
for everything. Bina is essential.
Okay, so while that scene is playing out, the rest of you. Oh, we got a Freeman back, which means hold on.
A series. I tell you, this is almost could be written in a book, a several book saga of all the things that just happened.
Well, since we got you back, I'm gonna start moving shit around again.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, chat.
Yep.
I hope you're all having a good Wednesday.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's not your fault.
It crashed.
The
It
nature
crashed.
of the medium.
And then Discord on my computer was updating randomly, and it said it was failing. And then my
Awful.
internet crapped out when I was trying to go
Great.
through
Oh
Good
my
timing.
god.
3 things. It was just like boom, 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 and I was like, really, right now? Sorry about that, guys.
Not to worry. We'll get it squared away in a second. Just rearranging everybody. I think everybody's mostly in the right spot. There we go. We're good. Okay. There we go. Everybody's back. Okay. So, all right. In the meantime, while Henry is or Olam is getting the professor set up, the rest of you upstairs in the observation room with Orie and Rukk as Orie begins setting things up and pulling up a few files that he has on his own terminal as he starts sort of swiping them up onto the display. At this point, I would say that Olam, you would have returned by this point. He says, "Right, so, I've got a few. We've got to get a few things, But essentially, the important part of this heist, so to speak, is well. So I found the location of the auction. It's happening on a moon out here in the border worlds that was once the site of a big mining operation. They've still got the facilities there, but they've been mostly abandoned and since claimed by the Duraga gang and basically turned into a fortress. They've brought in all kinds of perimeter defenses, both in terms of shields and in terms of, well, anti-ship cannons and things like that, but that's all right because we have another way in. On a mining planet where everything has been largely stripped bare, there's a lot of crags and crevices that have opened up, and it's almost impossible for them to keep an eye on every avenue of approach. So, I just happen to have found a bit of a map of the mining operations, and one of the ravines, and he flicks it up onto the display, and you actually basically are seeing like a 3D like hollow image of a ravine leading up to an installation, and you can watch as there are actually many ravines. You can see the crags on the surface of the world, as there's a single line that begins tracing through the ravines through like this labyrinth of cracks in the surface of the moon. A single line is highlighted and starts tracing through until it reaches the facility. He says, "So we'll have to navigate through this little trench here, and that should get us. Well, this is our escape plan, really. This is our getaway plan." And he says, "Now, I've got to get a few things, but namely a getaway vehicle. As you might have noticed, this crag here is not quite large enough to fit a vessel as fine as yours. Not to mention they'd see us coming, so that's not really a good way in. Besides," and he swipes the display, and you see sort of a larger, sort of more macro scale view of the moon itself. He says, "Over here," and he indicates a point on the map that is a little ways away from where the mining installation is. "Over here is where anyone who is attending will have to set down their shuttles or ships or whatever it is that they're arriving in. All transportation is handled by the Duraga gang. They'll be shuttled from this location back to the installation. And so that means that this is our way in, which means that's where all of you come in. You'll all have to be posing as wealthy buyers in the auction. With me so far?"
Mm-hmm.
Right, excellent. So, now that we've got your way in, luckily this is not really an invite sort of situation. It's more like if you know about it, you're invited because then you know how to find it, etc., etc. It's all very under the table and spooky and shady, and frankly, I think they're a bit too dramatic. You just hear Rukk just and he goes, "Right, sorry. So once you get inside, that brings us to the matter of, well, the actual acquiring of goods. Now, this is normally the part where I bet you'd be expecting some very elaborate and complex plan that obfuscates our purpose while also getting us what we want. But really, it's actually very simple. There's no way of touching any of the goods before they're sold. Everything is locked down until it reaches the auction floor. Which means that the... Oh, Jesus.
Oh, we're good.
He's here.
Okay.
It happens just like that again, huh?
Great. Well, at least it didn't mess anything up this time.
Okay,
It didn't move
good.
anything around.
Wow.
Right now, the best opportunity to grab any items at the auction is once they've already sold and are being transferred to their new owners. Which means that once inside, we have to. Not only do you have to infiltrate the gala itself, but also find a way of taking control of the handoff after the item is sold. After that, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple matter of grabbing the item, making your way down to this floor, and you watch as the facility schematics get pulled up once again. And you watch as a little point is highlighted at the lowest point of the facility, probably some sort of what would have once been used as a staging area for the mining operations below. It says right about here is where Rukk and I will be handling the getaway drive-in, so to speak. We'll have a vehicle here, ready to take us all back to our ship, and away we go. Very simple.
Yes.
The actual sort of infiltrating the artifact once it's been sold, is there any reason to do that stealthily, or can we just sort of, go in guns blazing?
Well, it's probably you could probably handle it however you like, but it's important to note that once they are aware that something is happening, you'll only have a limited amount of time before they send everything they've got at you. So probably good to maximize the length of your period of anonymity.
You might want to play nice for a little bit until we get eyes on the artifact, at least.
Right. And I think that's pretty much the plan.
With Orie Odo's permission, I get to make sure I have this map and the schematics of the facility on my little wrist terminal.
Yeah.
Just start looking over them.
Mm-hmm. Says, now, I recommend that you familiarize yourself with the layout of this place over the next day or so, and in the meantime, I have some contacts to reach out to. We're going to need some fancy clothes, and we're going to need a getaway vehicle. I actually think I have someone who might have something. So,
Orie, I'm gonna ask you this, not because I don't think the answer is gonna be yes, but we can trust you to be there with the getaway vehicle, right?
Oh, of course. I'm trusting you to get what I want from the inside as well. So.
And what exactly is that?
Right. I didn't get to that yet. So, what I'm looking for, and he pulls up an image of what is it basically is just like a technological cube that Bina would recognize this. Maybe not the style specifically, but would recognize it for what it is, which is effectively it is a navigation log from a ship. It's essentially it's basically like a black box. Actually, you know what? Looking at it, you've never seen one, but it's pretty clearly Racted technology. Says, that's what I'm after. This actually was pulled from one of the surviving ships from the Racted Armada. It contains apparently their course that they charted through dark space. Before the Armada was destroyed. Rumor is that there's still some wreckages of those ships still out there. And if there's any way of finding it, it's in that thing.
You want to go to dark space?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'd want to. It's not exactly the goal, but...
You want to plunder dark space just a little bit.
Right. I mean, it sounds bad when you put it that way. Can you put it a way that sounds good?
You are exploring a part of space that no one else has seen before.
I like
and
it.
repurposing the items you find.
Precisely.
We're good for a few things here on Away. Making people feel good about themselves, picking up strays, heists to be determined if that's on our list of things we're good at.
Yeah, we can put a maybe on that one.
Mm.
A TBD.
So, does this all sound like we can get this done? I'll handle my end. I'll get a few things that, with some input from all of you, I have some ideas for making you all look the part. I think, and I'll handle all of that. And right, you just need to make sure that you're familiar with the playing field, so to speak.
Do you need help shopping at all? Do you need I could come along as a consult. I mean,
I wouldn't say no to a little bit of help.
okay. And then I'm gonna just turn to everybody and immediately start taking their their orders, their measurements.
Oh, I love this. Peach is gonna go shopping for everybody.
Yeah.
Desiree is insufferable through the measurements. We don't need to roleplay that out. You can imagine it.
I hear it.
God.
All right.
Stop moving.
Bina,
I
if
think
you're
I'm
doing,
moving.
Bina's gonna be like, I know I'm small compared to you, but like I'm tall for an Orzai. So most, all the way around. Most Orzai clothes are kind of small. She'll make sure she needs to make it known that she's actually very tall. Thank you. Like,
Of course.
So, we'll have a quick scene before we jump to the main event. But, Peach and Orie and I would say, Rukk as well, leave Awakener to go conduct their business. And
See you guys later.
we'll just cut to a little while later, as Bina, you're making your way out of the cockpit to go kind of make check on some just check on the engines and make sure that everything is set.
she does constantly. Like, basically, she's back and forth between the bridge and the engine room pretty much constantly every day.
You're making your way past the sort of the secret room on the near the bridge, which at this point is actually is open, which it usually isn't. But you notice that it's open, and as you're walking by, you kind of happen to glance in, and you can see that sitting on the floor. You can see Alma is sitting on the floor of it, facing towards the cockpit or the corridor, and you also notice that Jade is in there as well, and Jade is currently laying down. He has his head in Alma's lap, and she's just sort of stroking his hair, and she is just you can hear the sort of like low muttered conversation as she glances up and sees you, and just sort of gives you a kind of like. And Jade hasn't noticed you, but you catch just a glimpse of his face, and you can tell that like his eyes are swollen and red, and he's just sort of he's there, and Alma just sort of looks at you, just kind of like shrugs and just sort of
Bina will kind of like indicate via pointing, like, should I keep walking, or like do you require assistance? Like,
she looks down and just
Bina will come in.
Jade like as you step inside, he finally seems to notice that you are there, and actually hold on, he finally seems to notice. Oops, nope, not what I wanted.
There's suddenly 500 people.
So many people.
Oh God. Too many strays.
He seems to notice suddenly that you're there, and he like straightens up suddenly and just, hi Bina. Hi.
How's it going?
Great.
Yeah, seems like it.
And he just like looks at Alma, and she just looks back at you, and she just says, "Do you want me to tell her?" And Jade just nods, and she says, "He's having maybe you should do it." He goes, "Okay." And he looks up and he says, "It's just today's my mom's birthday."
What was your mom's name?
Corsa.
Corsa. Happy birthday, Corsa. Should we have a birthday dinner for her?
No, it's okay. I know everybody's pretty busy right now with
I'm not.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Eric just raided us. Eric.
Hey,
Hi.
Whimsies.
Whoa.
Hi.
Hello, Whimsies. Welcome.
We're in an
Hello.
emotional moment
Well-
right now. Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
everyone.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Well, okay. Tonight, everything is just determined to just completely just derail me. This is way better than tech issues, though. This is this is a way better derailment than tech issues. Thanks so much for the raid. Welcome,
Thank you.
everybody.
Short version, there's gonna be a heist, but right now we're emotional.
There will be a heist soon, but not now.
How can you have your heist if you don't have your emotional moment?
Exactly.
All right. He just says, maybe
Just be
It's
the
not-
three of us.
it's okay. It can wait until after.
We have how many days until the heist?
Oh, probably at this point, maybe about two days or so.
Yeah, so Peach is out doing shopping, I think. I've spent a lot of time with the maps already. I think we could have a birthday dinner.
Alma just sort of nudges him, with her elbow, and she says, "I bet if you asked really nicely, Bina would make something really crazy to eat." And he just sort of looks down and looks back up at her, and just looks at you and just says, I think I just want to have some time by myself.
Okay.
Maybe we can do it after. Maybe.
You know where to find me.
He stands up. He says, "Okay, I'm gonna go see where Sedona is and see if she needs help."
Bina's will stand up when he does and kind of like lift her arms just like a little bit, like won't hug unless he needs it, because she doesn't really know what he needs right now because he's not giving full answers.
Yeah, he just looks at you and then just gives you a hug, just pulls you in.
Little forearms. Oh, the biggest hug.
Yeah. Alma
gonna-
also stands up and just kind of like puts a hand on his shoulder while the two of you
Oh
are
no,
embracing.
no. She's she's engaged. She's involved in this too
like,
now.
"Oh, okay."
I have 4 arms. I can hug
Yeah.
both of them at the same time.
She puts a hand on his shoulder, then like arms grab her and like
Yeah.
pull her in.
Yeah.
Grabby hands.
Grab your hands.
Yep.
And Bina's gonna use her reverse empathic thing that she's got, and just kind of not to influence, but to make him feel how much she loves him and how much she cares about him.
Yeah. He kind of holds the embrace for a little while and then pulls away just a little bit and just smiles and just, okay, I'll see you later.
She puts 2 hands on his shoulders and 2 hands just kind of like pats his cheeks and says, "Let me know if you need anything, okay?"
Yeah. Thanks. And he looks at Alma and says, "Thanks for listening." And she just smiles, says, "Anytime." And he leaves. And Alma just leans up against, as soon as he's gone out of earshot, she just leans up against the wall and just looks at you and just thanks. I mean, I wanted to help, but I didn't really know what to do. I didn't really know what to say.
Oof. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. And I don't really have any experiences that I remember that I can help with, so... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna make him do anything, but I think it would be nice to celebrate her birthday with him.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like he wants to. I think he just needs a little bit of time. I mean, none of us have really had any time to sit and process anything that's happened to us over the last couple months, and he's had more happen to him than any of the rest of us.
Poor kid.
Yeah. She looks at you. She says, "How are you? I mean, I heard something about there's a heist or something."
I guess so.
How'd that happen?
How did anything happen to us over the past couple of weeks? Aside from residual waves of grief, I guess, from Jade. Fine. Mostly, I was just on my way to the engine room to double check some stuff that I definitely double checked already this morning. But what else am I going to do?
Do you ever take a break?
Yes. 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 I took a nap in the pilot's chair yesterday afternoon.
That doesn't count, Gina.
Sometimes maybe it counts.
Okay. Well, if you're going to the engine room and I can't stop you from doing that, then maybe I can at least come with you and remind you to eat every once in a while, and you can explain to me how some of that stuff works, because I only have a little bit of an intuitive knowledge of how all of that functions, and yeah.
We'll get you some hands-on experience instead of just brains on.
Don't call it that.
There you go. Actually, detour idea. Do you think that we have materials to make a birthday card on Awakener? We have crafting supplies? Do you think I bet Peach picked up crafting supplies. That seems like something that she would have picked up for us.
I bet we could probably find something.
Okay. Let's do that first.
Sure. We'll say this counts as a break. I'll take it. I'll take my wins where I can get them with you.
Sounds good. And then she'll link 2 arms with hers, and then we'll go try to find some crafting supplies.
Okay. All right.
I love them.
So we will go ahead and cut a little while later. So are there any other particular scenes that you want to have before we jump into the main event? Anybody?
I just want Olam to spend his time looking at the maps of the facility and the mining moon that it's on, but also reading, if he can access the like space internet, reading about the Racted Armada and their technology and that whole event.
Sure.
And I picture him like lying in his bunk with his feet against the wall and his hand on his head with the wrist-mounted terminal like projecting the information on his wall. With his other hand, he's eating like space flaming hot Cheetos out of a bag, and and just like reading the information on the wall and learning about stuff. So just learning as much as he can.
Okay.
Study sequence.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Space Cheetos.
Okay.
Desiree looks at the map for a couple minutes and then decides to go bother Avriel and is horribly failing at trying to get anything done over there. But
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
I just picture this scene with like where Desiree is just sort of sitting and just, whew, okay, and pulls up the map and like, all right, time to study, and then just, you know what, and then
exactly.
yeah. All right. Let's go ahead then and get ourselves started. So, we'll cut to a couple of days have passed, during the course of which Orie and Peach and Rukk have together have they have put together a pretty impressive collection of items. Your outfits for infiltrating the gala and auction are excellent, and we'll get there in a second. But the most impressive of these items, by far, is the full-on hovercraft that Orie has managed to acquire, that is currently sitting in the hold of Awakener. Awakener's the central section of the floor of Awakener's hold essentially can lower, operating as a cargo elevator, basically, which was necessary for bringing this hovercraft aboard. It is a fully enclosed vehicle, and as Orie shows it to you, he says, "It's not exactly designed for our particular needs, but it'll do. It'll do in a pinch. There's a small chance there might be the environmental seals may be just slightly out of date, but that's not, that's a problem for future us, or hopefully never us. But
Bina's already leaning towards the craft, trying to get an eye on
yeah, you can see where there's one of the side hatches that is just sort of open, and inside is basically just a you can see that there's like the two pilot seats up front, and then just very compact passenger seating in the back.
Bina wants to know what she can fix before we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So taking a quick look over it, I won't make you roll to like sort of take into account this thing's condition, but it's old, but like the guts are good. Like
Okay.
it looks like it'll handle pretty well. It's basically the kind of vehicle that was created for planetary expedition, for it's essentially for exploration of planets that are the sites, potential sites of new colonies and things like that. It's basically for an expeditionary craft is basically what this hovercraft was designed for, which means that it has environmental seals that protect against hostile environments. But Orie is correct in his assessment that they are a little bit out of date. They will work, but if you're wanting to take this into hazardous environments, chances are you're going to want to get those replaced at some point. It's for now, in Bina's estimation, I would say that it is slightly worrisome, but mostly for your purposes right now, it should be fine.
And we can't go into hazardous areas in our nice outfits, you guys. I kind of picked these out with everybody's recommendations. Rukk was actually a pretty good consult. I was a little bit surprised, but like actually very, very good consult. And I think we got things that everybody will like. So, Peach also brought back some fresh flowers to put in the
Yeah. So
she whips out those out of the hovercraft, like wherever it is.
Yeah. All right. So as everybody is getting together, we'll cut right to as Awakener is landing in a large crater on this moon. as you're coming down into orbit around the moon, you can see that there are much larger vessels that seem to be in orbit. Most of which are just sort of keeping a fair distance from the moon. The same sort of etiquette that you saw around near Marauder's Landing, where basically
Are they mundane or are they like a little flashy?
These are much nicer that you're seeing. These are very like upscale sort of transportation that you're seeing here. But
People here ready to drop a lot of credits on some
absolutely
potentially illicit items.
Yeah, but even so, they still seem to be observing the same sort of courteous distance from each other, to sort of for the sake of keeping the peace. You can see a few other vessels that are patrolling between them that you can see an insignia on them of that is essentially a circular ring that is mostly made up of a large reptilian looking creature that bathed in starlight, and you can see that this insignia seems to be on all these smaller craft that are patrolling. At which point Orie would point those out and would say, those are the patrol craft of the Daraga pirate gang. They're keeping an eye out. Agreements here is that, well, there's lots of rivalries between various syndicates and gangs out here in the border worlds, and well, this is the one time that they all get together and at least pretend to play nice. For that they need a bit of added security, and so the Daragas tend to keep that security with a show of force.
They've got logos on their vessels and everything. It really makes you wonder what the difference is between this pirate gang and one of the corps.
Right. Well, if to hear Rukk tell it, it's likely the difference is here that, well, they're not particularly interested in the PR side of being upscale criminals, so...
That would be a difference.
Not like us.
Right. I think. Anyway, we should probably be, getting, at which point Alma just looks up from the controls where she was sitting and she says, "We're already touched down. You're good to go." Alright, so, as you all, get yourselves ready, do you want to describe what your characters are wearing, or should I just show everybody?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, if anyone has any particulars that they want to highlight first, you can.
This is my favorite right here. The fedora, the
Fedora
fedora,
with the
but with the
feather.
feather.
Alright.
Is one of the...
I'll just show everybody for
Just
now.
Show them,
pictures.
show it,
Picture
show it, show
one
it.
Pictures are always fun.
It's much better this way. So, in honor of this particular occasion, Caitlin did a little bit of some art. So, hold on.
I had fun yesterday.
There it is. There they are.
Woo.
So, yeah, so we've got from left to right, we've got Olim, we've got Peach, Mason, Bina, and Desiree in their fancy outfits.
Oh, God, I love it so much.
It's so good.
They're pumped to
Desiree,
guys.
yeah, Desiree's face is so cool too, not just the outfit. That's the
She's not incognito at all. This
Both
guy
of
is
us
like,
really
we need
are.
to hide our identities, and Desiree was like, we're gonna do what now?
None of us have our identities hidden in these outfits, but
I mean, people do think we're criminals, so like it's not like we're not gonna fit in here. It's just like,
Exactly.
what is our bounty worth to these people, or are they already set and don't want to mess with anyone else they think might also be a criminal?
I mean, canonically, your bounties altogether are more than Desiree's. So
Mhm.
That is true.
That's one thing I think Bina would have asked at some point, like, do people on like the Marauders Landing or whatever, do you turn each other in, or is that just like nah, Like, fuck the police.
I
Like, we
mean,
don't.
if you would, no one else would probably work with you ever again.
That's fair. You get blacklisted
so-
if you're turning someone in. So
Mhm.
that's what I've been banking on. So
Maybe as a last resort.
Yeah. At which point Rukk would chime into that conversation and say, "Only the truly desperate would do something like that. It's a risk, high risk, high reward though. It depends on how desperate they are and how big the reward is for something like that." So, all right, so. We'll cut to a little bit ahead as you all are stepping onto what is essentially a small, like, enclosed platform on the surface of this moon that itself has environmental shielding around it. The moon itself has very little breathable atmosphere, and therefore there are only small pockets. Orie would have explained to all of you that the facility itself, the main facility, actually has some of the old atmospheric processing that is common in mining facilities on planets and asteroids, or asteroids and planets that have low atmosphere or hostile atmospheres, and that is something that extends for quite some ways around the facility itself. However, this particular landing zone is well outside of that. So here they rely on just sort of a single sort of, it's like a small makeshift dock that itself has a atmospheric shield that creates an artificial atmosphere in that localized area. There is a large shuttle that is currently docked on the platform, and you can see all around you as you are making way on this platform. There are many people, all dressed to the nines with their security details and things like that, just stepping onto this large shuttle. The shuttle itself, Bina would recognize as one that is a model that is most often used as sort of a luxury shuttle, which is why it's larger than your average shuttle. It is built, the interior as you step inside, it is built for comfort and for opulence. There's basically just the inside of it is just a massive lounge that sort of looks, it looks like the interior of like sort of Orient Express kind of like train cars, but like larger.
A bunch of like, I'm picturing a bunch of like wooden tables and like impractical stuff, like a bunch of jars and vases
Yeah,
and like a
exactly.
grandfather clock and shit. Like
Excellent.
Crystal like cigarette, like a crystal ashtray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chandeliers.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
You all kind of step on board to the shuttle, feeling very out of place around all these people who look like members of high society, but that you all know to be some of the most dangerous people in the border worlds, which is saying a lot. As you take this moment, the shuttle, I'd say you're probably on board for just maybe about 15 minutes or so before the shuttle takes off and makes for the facility.
Is everyone like chatting with each other, like the criminals, or are they kind of sticking to their own folks?
They're chatting amongst themselves in their own groups.
Okay.
There is definitely an aura of suspicion that is being cast in every direction. You can see groups that are far apart from each other that are eyeing each other with, in the most benign cases, suspicious glares, and at worst, murderous intent.
Olam's got the same stupid, like, closed lip grin that I haven't usually in real life. Like, he's kind of looking around.
And just like the hi, how you doing? And just
Just like,
Do any of these people look familiar in any way? Like, are any of these like criminals that are like really high, like such high profile that like I would know about them? Like,
Yeah, me.
besides our
rotated.
lovely captain.
Actually, no. And the reason for that is that most of the people out here, most of the people out in the border worlds, who run things or are high up in their organizations, they are people that they tend to. It's hard to be successful in the business that they're in if your face is well known.
Yeah, okay. That makes
So
sense.
like maybe
That's fair.
you don't know them by sight. That's not to say that there aren't people around that you might know by name, or by reputation, but at least by sight there's you're not getting anything.
Okay.
After about 5 minutes, you were able to, sort of looking out one of the viewports on the side of the shuttle, you can see as you're pulling in over a spider web like network of cracks and crevices that just spread out over the surface of the moon below you. And right kind of in the center of that, you can see where there is a facility that seems to be built into the side of one of these ravines, and like sort of over it. It looks less like a mining facility and more like a small vertical town that's built over the top of this this convergence of ravines. You can see immediately what Orie meant as you fly over it. Looking down, you can see that there are gun emplacements everywhere. Just sort of automated anti-ship cannons that are constantly swiveling in various directions. You can even see, as the shuttle approaches, several of them just sort of lock onto the shuttle and just sort of track it as it enters. And then as you pass by, they turn and go back to their just sort of swiveling. You would guess that this place would be almost impossible to assault without a full-on armada. It would be, and even then it would be costly. But you make your way in as the shuttle docks with the facility, and the well-dressed high society patrons begin disembarking. You follow suit, making your way out into a large lobby-looking area. And actually, while the outside is nothing much to look at, the inside is well decorated. The sort of austere, very utilitarian design of this facility, contrasting in actually a pretty contrasting with the opulent decorations to actually startling effect. It creates a feeling in you as you step inside of basically being in some kind of mansion-like fortress. It instills a feeling of awe and a feeling of smallness, and what you get from just sort of looking around is that feeling is absolutely intentional. The thing that you notice first as you wade through the crowd towards what is pretty clearly the sort of main area where people are gathered is there are armed individuals all wearing the insignia of the Duraga gang that are just sort of casually leaning on bulkheads and walls and sitting watching the crowd with a largely disinterested look, but security is high. You hear at this point a beeping and a crackling of your comms, and you hear Orie's voice come over. He says, "Right, testing. I'm just making sure everything's good. Can you hear me?"
Loud and clear.
Excellent. We're just getting ourselves settled and making our way into position.
Same here.
Right. Well, do try to lay low and blend in. It's important that you keep up appearances until it's absolutely, until it's absolutely impossible to do otherwise.
Bina's gonna kind of like look around and like anyone who is walking near us who like isn't immediately part of our group, she's gonna kind of like try to chameleon a little bit and like kind of feel what their kind of their base level is at, and then like match it like expression, and then like gonna take on a little bit of their like emotional state to be like, ah yes, I belong here.
All right. Sounds
Is there
good.
any like wine? Like, is there anything like being
Yes.
served in this situation?
Absolutely. There definitely is. You can see, like, as you make your way into sort of the central chamber that is pretty clearly decorated as like almost like a, I would say ballroom is taking it too far, but it is certainly decorated as definitely intentionally made to be the focus of this event. Most people that you have seen are in here, and it is currently a sea of wealthy-looking individuals, dangerous-looking individuals. Sometimes there's the same thing, and their security details that are following them, watching everybody with just like full attentiveness, just sort of scanning the room. But there is one side of the whole room where you can see there's like a long bar where you can see a lot of different bartenders working and serving the wealthy patrons. On the far end, there is what appears to be a recently constructed stage with a podium, where you would guess the auction is to take place.
Is there? I don't know if this is a thing in real life in auctions or in this instance, but is there like a list of the items that are being auctioned
Yes.
off tonight?
Yep, that is something that you would be able to find.
Okay, because I want to take a look at that, and also I'm gonna head over to the bar if anyone would care to join me to get.
I would love to join you.
Mason will
Great.
follow.
Bina is once again people watching because third time in probably like a couple of months being surrounded by a lot of people. So I think it takes her a second to like again like tone it down. And yeah, I think she's just like trying to like catalog people emotionally and see what's up. And then is Olin gonna like hang out with Bina?
Yeah, I think Olaf sees the group splitting and like has a little bit of fear in his eyes, and then just kind of like steps really like close next to Bina and just like stands like
We'll be back.
glancing
Do
at her.
you guys want a drink or anything?
I'm good.
Okay. Wine it is. And I mean, I would kind of under the impression of like, if we don't hold a drink in this setting, it looks weird kind of thing. So that was kind of my intention. And also, I just kind of want to hear if anybody's talking about what they're going to be betting on. I know that probably isn't exactly, it's not going to be loud broadcasting, but that's something that I kind of want to actively listen for as I'm going through and like kind of nodding politely to people and like, going through, waving like I know people and.
Sure. One thing that you would note, Peach, as you're making your way through this crowd, is that here, unlike on the shuttle, there is much more interaction between the various parties. You can see as there's a lot more conversation taking place, and quickly you find yourself slipping back into like old skills as you're sort of looking around, evaluating the different relationships between people. Like you can see a few that are like definitely you find yourself able to pick out the tentative partners, the allies, those who are enemies and are trying to make it not look like they are enemies. And like you're starting to pick out all these different social relationships here, and it is disturbing how similar it is between like all of these criminals and syndicate leaders and the political systems where Peach is from. Like this
Yeah.
without looking too closely, it feels almost exactly like you could be attending a political function back home.
Yeah, I was thinking this is very like fundraiser vibes.
Oh,
like-
absolutely. Very much so.
Desiree, I haven't been to a place as nice as this in a while.
Should probably keep up appearances. We should, and she's gonna take Peach's arm.
Peach will let it happen.
Sorry. Win. Okay.
All right. You make your way over to the bar, and bartenders come up and quickly begin kind of taking orders and pushing drinks across the bar towards you. In the meantime, Olim and Bina, the two of you, sort of this island in a sea of people who, in the sea of high society criminals, just sort of looking in every which direction. What are you guys doing?
I'm just kind of rubbernecking. I try to put my hands in my pockets, and then I realize my floral flowing thing doesn't have pockets, so I just kind of awkwardly move my hands around near my thighs. And then I look at Bean. I'm like, "How are people feeling?"
That was what I was gonna. That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
That was my. I want to see one. I want to see if anyone is noticing us or the other part of our party specifically in any way. Like if there's any recognition at all, or if we seem out of place. But also, I'm just kind of like, yeah, Bean has been cataloging essentially, like people walking by, like, where are we all at? Let's do like this is a big group of people. Where is everybody? Where is everybody at?
Okay. So you're getting from just a huge flood of information, basically, of like emotional states and reactions. You're seeing you're feeling like flashes of irritation. There's some like anger at the sight of the presence of another individual. You're feeling just sort of general anticipation and determination on the part of many of these people. You can feel quite a lot. It's a lot to take in, and there's nothing that you can feel in that swirl of emotion that specifically seems to be directed towards you or any of your group.
Visually too, I also would like, has anyone like lingering eyes in any way, or is anyone looking our direction? That was kind of the
I mean
part.
that is pretty clear, but they appear to be mostly like, who the fuck is that kind of like.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the only lingering gazes that you're seeing is more that style rather than taking any kind of interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Veen will be like, that guy in the teal really was not happy to see the guy in the red. Those two know each other. I don't know what they've got going on, but they keep looking at each other. They recognize each other, but they won't talk to each other. I don't really know what's going on. It's kind of, I've been watching them. They're not doing anything. That guy also was really mad to see the guy in the red, and he's gonna like to kind of do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Wait, if anyone gets close, she'll shut up. But like, if when it's just the two of them, she'll kind of like play by play. They don't know. Some people don't know who we are, and they don't like that. But those guys look kind of tough. They have pretty big security. And she's just kind of like, after a while, she'll tone down like the full like. But I think at the beginning she can't help it. Like she's just has never been to anything this fancy before. Not like on whatever side of the moral spectrum, but like.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
But I think she'll kind of tone it down. But she's still kind of like keeping like a feeling out just kind of for the people around us, and is still, I think every once in a while will, like, if someone walks by like really close, she'll like grab onto their like, oh, they're grumpy, and then she'll like hang on to that for a little bit, and like so if Olam notices that she's mostly just amusing herself, but also is trying to actively like figure out, how do I act here in her own weird way.
And then the chain continues on. Olam like is watching Bina and like unconsciously like kind of copying her facial expressions now and then. And then I want to find on the floor or something like an item list, like a lot list for
Yeah.
the auction.
That's easy enough to do. You just sort of wandering up kind of near the stage. You can see where there are numerous holographic displays sort of evenly spaced around the area that are sort of showing. There's some of them you can see that they're set up with just like an item list, but some of them that are not directly being attended, you can see they're just sort of cycling through various items, just displaying. And the interesting thing is, as you're sitting there, looking through, sort of swiping through the artifact or the items, you actually see the artifact finally come up, and you get that surge of like recognition as you see the artifact come up as you looking at it. Though neither of you have seen one before, it matches Peach's description of what she saw in her vision back on the colony. And as you're both looking at it, you can feel sort of the presence of somebody else nearby, watching you, Bina, as you turn and you see a dignified-looking Enzalonian man who is just sort of looking over your shoulder and makes eye contact with you and smiles and says, "You and your friend have a good eye. That is a rare piece." Says, "Do you have you have particular interest in such an item?"
I think we're window shopping right now, but now that you've pointed it out, maybe we should have interest in it. Huh? Want some competition? She's gonna kind of like.
Says, "Well, unfortunately, that I've learned that while that item is on the list, it has actually already been sold."
Oh,
That's not how auctions work.
It is if you have the right connections.
I say, oh, yes, of course.
I'm not sure I've
two
seen.
by themselves.
I'm not sure I've seen either of you at any of these auctions before.
What?
I am Devon Nix.
Did write that down.
Says, I am accustomed to some new faces from time to time. The power structures in the border worlds being what they are. Constantly changing. But, I'm not sure I've seen either of you before. Is this your first time at one of these auctions?
Yes, it is, in fact. We've been to similar, smaller affairs, and such things.
Of course.
But rest assured, we know this to be the place for us.
Bina's gonna immediately take like affect / like the air of someone nearby who is comfortable here, and is going to like adopt that. Like as this conversation starts, she's gonna be like, "Oh, I see. He wants to have a conversation and not just my comment did not make him go away. Okay, we're settling in." So she kind of is gonna like, "I am comfortable here."
Just for lols, I'd like you to make a roll here.
Encouragement,
Yeah.
This
pleasant or otherwise.
I'll tell you, it's better you than I.
Yeah.
Any of you.
Olem, this is gonna be an intellect roll. The difficulty here is going to be difficulty is gonna be 3.
Asset from encouragement from
Yeah.
Bina.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll. So difficulty 2, 6 or better is what I'm looking
Yep.
for. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I got a 6. Which is,
Thank God.
I'd say, a bare success is the best I deserve from
Yeah.
how Olem's acting.
It's very good.
He just sort of smiles and says. He kind of glances around the room and just leans in a little close and says, "A bit of advice for newcomers. The crowd is a little bit cutthroat, and I would encourage you to look towards future auctions to make your biggest acquisitions. It's often best in such company to arrive with security in the future. Just things here, we make sure to maintain full neutrality of these auctions, but things tend to escalate, shall we say, outside of our protection.
Oh, no worries. My friend who she's gonna padme is my security.
He looks at you, very sort of looks you up and down, Olam, and then just says, "Of course."
I mean, Bina believes it fully. Like,
Well, I shan't take up any more of your time. Please do continue. Enjoy browsing.
We shall, and no apology. Wait, he didn't apologize. No, and it's been a pleasure.
And he just nods, still sort of smiling, and then you watch as his face just sort of goes right back to the carefully neutral facade that he had on before as he turns and makes his way through the crowd. Oh.
I think I lied to that man. She's gonna, like, kind of. I mean, we're not actually gonna buy it, so like that wasn't a fully.
I'm like, oh, I'm not sure did you directly tell a lie? I don't know.
I don't know. He asked if we were gonna buy it, I think, and we're not. So I did that we weren't.
I'm beeping through the list of things. Is there an order? Does it say an order in which they will be sold?
Yeah, it does have them. You can see that the item that Orie wants, the navigational log, that is like the 4th or 5th item on the list.
Did we ever establish if we're like fake bidding on these items or if we're just like taking them from the people who buy them? Did we talk about that at all? Because I don't feel like.
Yeah, so we can't actually. I mean, we could bid, but we don't have money. I'm assuming enough money to.
Not this kind of money.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean it'd be like a total lie.
Like,
Like we'd be.
Yeah,
totally-
you could throw in a low bid and just kind of like hope it gets stopped.
As you're looking,
But otherwise, we're not gonna be able to like get them until
Right.
they've been sold. So we
They're
have to
in
wait
transit.
until someone. Yes.
Yeah.
I just realized is the fact that we having to get 2 different things that might be going different directions. That's gonna be something.
While we're at the bar, kind of like getting our drinks and kind of talking it, and Peach has been kind of looking around, and I want to locate from all the different like social groups and different kind of hierarchies that I see here. I want to try and find someone, or maybe like a partner, like not a huge group, but kind of a smaller group of people who look like 1 powerful, 2 rich. Which they all look rich, but like people who seem to have like a very solid air about them, and how kind of I want to kind of look how other people are talking to them and kind of acting around them to try and find someone who like clearly has some kind of gravitas like in this situation and like would have a lot of wealth. That
sure, yeah.
That's what
I would say it doesn't take you long to find somebody like that. There is a particular group, notable, namely because of their complete lack of security detail, seemingly.
okay.
But in spite of that fact, you can see people treating them with deference and an abundance of caution. Like looking at everybody, it looks like to a casual observer, it would look like it is a group of people that is just sort of that is talking and admiring these individuals. But to Peach's trained eye, it's one thing is very clear. Everybody who's interacting with this group, these people, it is a couple. They are a Keldro couple. As you are looking, everybody who's interacting with them is terrified of these 2 people. But yeah, so that's pretty much the most obvious instance of that in the room.
Okay. I am going to order 2 of the nicest, fanciest drinks
Mhm.
from the bartender. And I'm going to turn to Desiree and say, would you like to just help me talk with some folks? We might have to just, pretend to be some of these high society folks. Maybe a fan of these folks' works. I could just use a partner on this.
Oh, you're asking me to be your partner, of course. And she takes a sip and she goes,
What's up?
that's sweet. That's very sweet. All right.
Did you take a drink of the one of the drinks that I got for those people?
Yeah, the fancy drink. I'm assuming it's like either very sweet or like just not rum.
Yeah.
It's like not hard liquor.
Desiree, I was gonna bring those over to the folks that we're talking to, but I'm gonna order another one.
No, actually, you can take this one, and I will order some rum for myself.
Okay, great.
All right.
And I'm gonna like literally double fisting holding these fancy drinks.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna kind of trouts, like, kind of walk over. But before I leave Mason at the bar,
Be careful.
I'm always careful. Also,
Don't worry, I'll take care of her.
just Mason, would you just keep an eye on Bina and Olam? I feel like they're probably a little nervous over there. I feel bad about leaving them.
Absolutely.
You glance over to see Bina like out like directly pointing at somebody and talking to Olin. Like,
She's trying to be subtle, but she's probably not full extend arm, but like
Yeah.
she's definitely pointing at people.
I turn to the bar. I turn around and I say, 3 whiskeys, neat.
bartender
I do
nods.
want to say, at whatever point chronologically that conversation happened with Devon Nix, I would like to send a little message in our like group chat that is definitely not named heist with several emojis. She's gonna. It's not. We don't know what the tech is here.
That would be a bad thing.
It'd
to
be really
come up while
funny.
you're in the break.
It's
She's
called
just
We're
gonna.
Not Imposters.
She's just gonna tell them. We've been told that one of the items we're looking at might have already been sold. It's vague enough, not specific, and she's gonna send that just in case. I don't know if they've got monitoring stuff happening here, but yeah, she wants to put that through to the group.
Okay.
So I don't know if they would receive that before they go have this conversation, but at some point I would like people to be aware.
Sure. Yeah. Also, like all of you can also communicate via like directly to each other. You're all basically like wired up at this point. Like, but that said, you would all be privy to that information now. But so Peach, you and Desiree make your way over to this group of people. One as you sort of step in and you can hear one of the individuals talking that's sort of in the mixed crowd just saying, no, really, the regulators are becoming irritating. I mean, they were bad before, but I don't know. You would think that somebody, well, I thought we weren't going to have to worry about them anymore. And another woman responding, well, these things take time. Besides, they're far too interested in their own self-righteousness to actually get anything done. So we'll let them destroy themselves in that way. Eventually, they don't have the staying power here in the border worlds that we do. And you can see that the couple that these people are all sort of gathered around are not participating in the conversation. They in fact both appear to be pretty bored.
Yeah.
The
Amuse them, Peach.
Yeah,
Amuse them.
there you can see a Keldro man and woman, and as you've gotten closer, you can see that like from a distance they appear to be a couple, but closer up you can actually see the family resemblance, and they actually appear to be brother and sister.
Interesting.
As the two of them are just sort of standing there. They're clearly listening. That much is obvious, but they also are like making a show of being coolly disinterested in what is happening.
Okay, so kind of capitalizing on their boredom, I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna have like kind of my arm in Desiree's as we approach, and just kind of not like totally like walk super close up to them. I don't want them to be jumpy, but I just kind of want to hold up the glasses to them and kind of catch their attention, and just say, I don't mean to interrupt, but my companion and I saw you from across the room, and I just had to come over and introduce myself. My name's Ruby.
Yeah, the woman looks up at you and just sort of gives you a very, like, her expression doesn't change, just like gives you a very cool look over. Her brother leans over, however, and gives you sort of a big, a wide grin, and he says, "Welcome." He says, I'm not sure I'm not sure we know each other. Says,
Yeah, I try not to be seen too much.
Understandable, particularly in, he kind of glances around, mixed company. Says,
Hey, don't talk about my companion that way, Captain.
It's all right, love.
He
Used to it.
he just kind of chuckles and says, "So, is this your first time at an auction? It's mine and my sister's. We've never actually been before."
Does that seem like they're telling the truth?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably hard to tell, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's ours first of this sort, at least.
We sought a few specific items that we didn't want to trust to our usual buyers, so. Besides, it does everyone good every once in a while to see, well, the leaders of some of the largest criminal organizations in the border worlds. Every once in a while.
That it does. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with the item list for this specific auction. I had my eyes on a couple of pretty powerful items, and I don't know, you guys look like you might be some smart folks just like us, so.
Are you trying to suss out your competition?
Am I really that obvious?
He, at this point, he finally just sort of smiles and takes the drink that you offered from you.
Yeah. I can take a sip first if you don't trust me.
Says, It wouldn't change how much I trust you. And his sister, as he says that, you can see that just like one corner of her mouth slightly goes up in a bit of a smirk, as she goes back to like totally dismissing the two of you and kind of just gazing around the room. He takes a small drink, like not dropping eye contact at any point. Just takes a small sip, and says, "Well, as much as I enjoy conversation about such topics, unfortunately, it's out of my hands. I'm not allowed to discuss our intentions for the auction."
Oh, I totally understand. I mean, with such powerful items at play, specifically lot, and then whatever lot it is that we want specifically, like the artifact. I've heard that some items like that have already even been purchased. It would take such a powerful person, I think, to take that away from those who have already purchased it. It would really be a show of strength. And I'm going to use Impaired Ideal to try to get them to bid on it.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, and we're gonna make this one a difficulty. This would be a difficulty 4, I think.
This power fucks me up every time you use it. Holy shit.
This is, yeah, oh man.
Oh god.
Yeah, so oh my gosh, with my edge now at 2, it only costs 1 to use it. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
So difficulty 4. Pleasant social interactions. Would that help?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm specialized, so that knocks it down to 2.
Okay.
I have a power shift in impart ideal, so that's 1 difficulty.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna spend.
All
Which
right.
is terrifying.
All right. So you're just gonna do it. All right. So
She does it.
he smiles for a moment and then just kind of frowns and blinks a little bit and just says, "I imagine it would." He says, "I admit I actually hadn't taken a look at that one, but
Well, not everyone can have as discerning an eye as myself.
I'm sure." And he looks at his sister, who's kind of currently like has her arm through his, and he says, "What do you think? It would make a nice decoration for the tea room." And she looks at him and just nods, just, "If you think so." And he says, "Well, perhaps we will then. Thank you for your tip."
Of course.
Of course, if what you're saying is true and the item has already been bought, then there's not much that can be done.
Well, I mean, it all depends on let's say how determined the bidder is, I think.
Well, we'll see then.
I guess we will. And with that, I'm just going to say, hope you guys enjoy the drinks. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Yes, hopefully. At which point, his sister just without looking at you, says, "Yes, hopefully." And with her, it is almost impossible to miss the distinct note of sarcasm.
Did she take the drink or just the brother?
No, she did not.
Okay, well, I'll start drinking it then as we leave. Just slowly, but...
Yeah.
Did I recognize them at all?
Not by their appearance, but through things that they said and just sort of now Desiree, I think, would start to notice everybody else sort of staring openly at the two of you in conversation with them, giving you that sort of look of like, who do they think they are, kind of thing, right? Desiree would notice this and start putting pieces together, and essentially, like, these are the Desiree siblings, and they are a sort of pair that have joint leadership over one of the most prolific crime syndicates in the Border Worlds. They are no joke. These are a pair of very dangerous individuals, and the fact that they did not come with any sort of escort just confirms some of the things that Desiree has heard about them, that the two of them are a force to be reckoned with, not just in the dubious political landscape of criminal organized crime, but also just individually as very dangerous and accomplished fighters. They are essentially the ones who give the other organized crime bosses nightmares.
Okay. So as we're walking away, once we get, far enough away, and I think that we're not being, overheard, I'll say very quietly over to Peach, I don't know, I don't think I'd rather fight the Desiree siblings than fight whoever's going to get that artifact.
I
rather take my chances with whoever else it is.
I think that I might have an idea on how to get it from them without fighting.
Oh, good. Because I do not, you know me. I'm incredible. I would not
Of
want to
course.
fight those two people.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you just eye candy with me. I respect you.
No,
I just needed the
I'm fine
eye
with
candy.
being eye candy if it's yours.
Okay. And we're just
We're
gonna
done.
go back to the group.
All right. So
And I'm gonna kind of quietly relate, very quietly, making sure no one's listening, kind of what happened. Actually, maybe over text is better.
all right. So we'll say as you all sort of reconvene.
I do want to say at some point after the conversation that we had, Vita's gonna be talking to him and be like, maybe I should try to be the guard. Do you think I can be your security? Would that be better?
I say, listen, I honestly think that either way is kind of a stretch. We should find Mason.
Oh,
And at
good
that
call.
point-
And then we'll that's how we meet up with Mason.
We turn and Mason's holding, coming over with 3 whiskeys.
Don't worry, you don't
Oh
have to
my
drink
God.
him.
Oh, did you give them to us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Good thing I have 3 more arms. I should have been the one getting drinks. What am I doing over here?
Mason, as you're sort of scanning the crowd, you notice a new group that has entered. There's a single individual, human male, probably in his. It's actually surprisingly hard to tell. He's one of those faces that he could be like an older looking, like a mature looking 30, or he could be like a very young looking 50, or anything else in between. It's difficult to tell.
You just had one of those faces.
Cue saxophones. Yeah, you see as he enters, and he's surrounded by a cadre of guards as they're sort of making their way in. He's wearing a very nice, sort of very sleek silver suit, and with his light brown hair that's perfectly coiffed, as he steps into the room, kind of mostly not taking anybody else into account. But you watch as he is met by the same Enzalonian man that Olam and Bina were talking to before, and they're talking. You can see they shake hands and they're talking, and very very amicable looking exchange. Both of them are smiling, and then you can see the Enzalonian man gesture to him and point toward it in the direction of the stage. As they both make their way over, climbing the stage, he's sort of looking. You can see that there is another individual in his shadow that is just sort of following. And at first, you missed them as the sort of, they're dressed very similarly to the rest of the guards following him. But you can see an individual, a human woman who is with short cropped hair, who is just sort of scanning the room and following him, just sort of every once in a while offering terse smiles to those who make eye contact with her. The kind of smile that is born of a face not accustomed to such an expression, as she just sort of following in his wake. The rest of the security just sort of fans out around the stage and just kind of hovers nearby, but she walks up onto the stage with him. As the 3 of them step up, you can see as you can hear them as the mic begins to transmit, and you can hear the Enzalonian man steps up as Devon Nix steps up and says, "Excuse me, if I may have your attention, everyone. We are about to begin. But before we do, I would like to introduce tonight's guest of honor." And he turns to the man and he says, "I would like everyone to welcome Damian Ellis."
Oh my God, I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I
Me
knew
too.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was gonna be here. I thought he was gonna be the guy who came up to you.
And that is where we're going to go on our break.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Damn it.
I was waiting.
So, we'll be back in a few minutes, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We'll pick up right here. See you in a few. Hi, everybody. We are back. We are back from break with full cups of water and all that sort of stuff. So, welcome back. When we left off, bit of a tense situation as the auction was kicked off with the introduction of a guest of honor, one Damian Ellis, the CEO of Silverbreak Technologies.
I would immediately like to put someone taller than me in between us and him.
Mhm.
And I will shimmy Olin with me if he's still standing next to me.
Yeah, you can hear sort of muttering running through the crowd as the Enzlonian man Devon Nix turns and says,
Is it surprise?
Hmm?
Or is this like, are people not shocked to see this man here?
"It seems like there's a little bit of surprise, like mild surprise. It's not like, yeah." Oh, it's not overt. It's not the kind of surprise that they're like just shocked. It's just kind of like,
Oh.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't
So-
know he was coming today.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
Yeah.
know how I feel about that.
He says, "So join me in welcoming to the stage our guest of honor, the CEO of Silverbreak Technologies, Damian Ellis." And he turns, and there's just sort of like applause from the crowd, and as he steps forward and says, Thank you. I you don't need to do that." He says, I just wanted to say thank you for your warm welcome, the hospitality. I'm always trying to get out to the border worlds much more often, but things are, well, it's difficult. And you can hear just sort of like some chuckles from the crowd, just sort of muttered and muttering. He says, "So, I don't want to take any more of your time than is necessary, so I'll give the floor back to Mr. Nix." And he nods, and Devon steps forward and says, "Well, you all know what you're here for, so let's not waste any more time. We'll start with the first item on our list," and he begins, as all of you begin sort of exchanging glances in this moment, as you can see Ellis stepping back with the woman, kind of like puts a hand on her shoulder and whispers something into her ear, as the two of them then step down off the stage and rejoin their security detail.
Oh yeah, I want to keep people in between us and him at all times. I have no idea if he knows we're here and he's playing at something, and if he doesn't know we're here, I want to keep it that way.
I don't think Mason
Oh.
takes his eyes off of them at all.
Mhm.
Like laser focus.
so do we think he's the buyer?
Oh,
Obviously.
absolutely.
For sure. I think so.
If he isn't, then he's here to wrangle it out of whoever already has bought it.
That's why we're here.
I think I convinced someone to buy it that we could maybe take it from later, but we'll see how that pans out.
Fun train of wrangling. Great. Okay. Cool.
Well, if it is Ellis, we've learned a lot since we saw him last. The plan doesn't change. We'll take it from him.
Hey, worst comes to worst, Desiree, you start a fight, and in the
Oh.
distraction, we take our stuff and run.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like maybe plan A or even B. Maybe that's like plan Z.
No, I think that's like a fallback, like a very far fallback plan. Just
Yeah, like really far down the list.
The items aren't even like removable until they've been sold and are in transit to the buyer. So doing that during the auction at any point, except for maybe big emergency, probably is not
I meant
something
like
we
on
should
the way
consider.
out.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Oh, okay.
At this point, Desiree, you sort of glancing around the room, you notice towards the back of the stage as items are being brought out, you notice some familiar figures.
Son of a bitch.
You notice a couple of members of your crew who are currently wearing the insignia of the Daraga pirate gang.
Oh man.
Any of the named ones are just like random.
No,
people?
these are just some of the crew members. Although as you start noticing this and you're watching, you also see Lash step out kind of onto the stage, helping to pull a couple of items on stage.
Is she wearing the insignia too?
Mhm.
Shh.
She steps out onto the stage and just sort of isn't helping to pull the item out. She just sort of stands in front of those who are and just sort of glances around the crowd. And at this point, I would like to offer a GM intrusion to you, Desiree.
Me?
Yep.
Absolutely, I would love a GM intrusion.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna wait to give it to whoever this impacts most negatively, because I'm
Sure.
sure this is gonna impact someone horribly.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
you're watching her, and as she sort of is passively scanning the crowd, you see as her gaze just slowly pans over to you and just locks on you. You can see as she sort of tenses, and then she just looks away.
Get her.
She just looks away.
Better be afraid. Because I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean down to everyone, or lean over to everyone, kind of inconspicuously, and be like, my crew is working for the Daraga gang. I'm going to murder all of them, but after we get our artifact.
Okay, good call.
That would be the
Good,
time,
good,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give my XP to Olivia, because I've been teasing her horribly this whole game.
Thank you.
All right. So as eventually, like the rest of your crew, they go back and they leave the stage, and there's a little bit of more. The auctions continue. After like a few minutes of like the first couple of items that passed, you Desiree feel just sort of a tap on your shoulder, and you turn to like face to face with Lash as she's standing there in front of you. She says, "What the hell are you doing here?
That you thought you'd seen the last of me.
You can't be here right now. This is
Oh, I can't be here right now. I'm the one who can't be here right now. You're the one who should not be here right now. What the fuck are you doing?
it's
You're working for them? You.
I'm working for our captain."
Oh, you're working for your captain. Of course you are. Of course you are. Thought you gotten out of working for people who don't appreciate you.
"That's what I did," she says, just sort of like looking you up and down. Just sort of says, "Look, I didn't like the way that it was handled, but it needed to happen. Look, I'm not gonna rat you out, but just..."
Oh, you're not going to rat me out. Thank you very much. In fact, thank you so much. I was so worried. I was shaking in my boots.
"Look, she can't find you here. If she does, you're done. You and everybody else that you're with." She kind of glances over your shoulder and just says, "You're done."
Who?
"If I tell you, will you leave?"
I haven't decided yet.
"You're impossible." She says, "It was your doctor friend, Saffron."
Right. I sort of anticipated that. I was surprised you went along with it.
"Well, she was making sense. She said that you weren't utilizing the ship, our status, our reputation to its fullest extent. Said that we could be aiming higher."
And now you're working for someone else.
"These people are in good with some really powerful people. We're working our way up. She's got a plan. Look, just leave or try not to make too much of a show of yourself. I'm gonna leave and pretend I never saw you."
I just sort of lean back and I cross my arms, and as she goes to leave, I'll sort of call it after her. I thought you're scared, aren't you?
She just stops, and just sort of very slowly turns around and says, "What? What are you talking about?"
You're scared that someone like me took an interest in someone like you. You're scared because you assume everyone thinks that you're going to double cross them. You're scared that you'd found something better. Tell me I'm wrong.
Just get out of here. She turns around and just leaves through the crowd.
I I'm gonna get my flask out and I'm gonna just quickly just down all of it and put it back.
Bina leans over and says, friend of yours?
Best friend, absolutely. That was my quartermaster.
Just humor me. What did I feel through that whole
You felt
from both ends?
How to describe the emotions? You're feeling her usual confidence, but also just a sense of indignation and anger, but anger on one side, but also just hurt at the same time, but not enough. There's not, she wants to murder this person, but she also very much does not want to murder this person at the same time. And you're getting some weird affection at the same time as you're getting the murderous instinct. It's very confusing.
I love it. Emotions often are. She understands. Yeah. What I want to know what I felt from Lash too.
Lash, just pretty much the entire time, she was incredibly on edge, anxious, and on some level was terrified.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So I'll sort of catch everyone up and I'll be like, Lash just said it was my medic, Saffron, who did this, and apparently they're working for, obviously, these people now. I want my ship back, obviously, but if Lash seemed pretty convinced that this was the right thing to do, I don't know. Told me to get out of here because if I'm assuming Saffron finds out, then we're in danger, but I think we have bigger things to worry about, and I'll sort of indicate to where Damien is.
Yeah, I think we could take care of ourselves. Hopefully.
Mason, I'm gonna need you to make a roll for me. This is going to be an intellect roll. The difficulty is going to be 4, and this is pretty much going to be. I'll just give this to you right now. This is going to be a roll to notice stuff.
I love to notice things.
So,
question: do I have to be aware that a roll is happening to use encouragement?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then.
Wearing my glasses, I'm going to look for things.
All right. So, difficulty is 4 right now. Do you have anything?
Depending on the nature of what I'm noticing, probably.
You just go through your list, and Luke's will tell you if anything applies.
Solving mystery.
What do you have?
Mystery solving in that particular, or just in solving mysteries. I could pick up on clues, right?
Okay, but specifically, do you have anything that that would
run through your trained list?
Oh well, yeah. Okay.
Trained / specialized.
All right, assessing danger.
Okay, that's gonna be relevant. That's certainly relevant here. That one is not relevant.
I didn't think most of these running. No, botany actually.
Yes, that one.
I would hope so. That would be actually kind of cool, but I don't think that's
nope.
Mason
jumping.
and Pete should chat.
No.
Those are the things I have. Solving mystery, noticing things that are out of place, deceptions. That's part of the solving. Or that's guarded. Sorry, I mix up guarded and mystery. Guarded
is that is that something that gives you training in that, or what does it do?
Training.
Okay.
Trained in tasks involving discerning the truth, piercing disguises, and recognizing falsehoods or other deceptions. That's the skill from guarded.
I'm gonna give it to you. Actually, it's
So that's 2 things I
Okay.
think right now, right?
Yeah.
So difficulty is 2 now.
Okay. And I can spend a level of effort
Okay.
from my intelligence. I don't know why I started singing.
All right, difficulty 1.
We're all tense.
Yeah, that's it.
I wonder
Hey,
why.
Difficulty 1. I shall roll. I got an 8.
Okay, yeah.
That does it. Ah.
right,
Yeah,
so-
close.
Oh, too much. Too much. That's way
Ooh.
too.
Been rolling just enough so far.
Yeah,
Okay.
just enough.
So, Mason, as you glance around, there's just sort of this like sudden, like you just sort of have that like instinct, like there's just something feels off to you as you just start looking around. You don't you notice them pretty quickly. You don't know when they got there, but the room where before like the Duragas were pretty scarce, other than like in the original like the entryway where you when you first came in, there's now quite a few that are sort of around the edges of the room. You're not entirely sure when they came in, but they're here now, and you can see that they are, as opposed to before where they seemed to be pretty relaxed before, now they're all pretty alert, and sort of scanning the crowd.
In any particular direction?
No. But the thing that you also notice is that the woman who followed Ellis in is standing next to one of them and is talking to them.
We might have an issue. Explain what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
What does that woman look like again?
Yeah.
She's probably about she's human. She has short cropped dark hair, is probably about 5'9", and is basically dressed the same as the security detail that that Ellis brought in with them. Sort of like, but you can also see that she has that right now the jacket of the suit is open, and you can see underneath that there is like a tactical harness underneath as well. She's currently like standing near the outside of the room, talking to one of the Duraga guards.
Does somebody have a Cypher that's like a listening device? Or did I make that up?
That sounds cool. I don't think I
I feel like that sounds familiar, but I don't know.
I mean,
I
just
got
have-
excited for a second because I thought I did, but I definitely do not.
I have a tracer. But,
Right.
Oh, that might be what I was thinking of. Okay,
I
yeah.
have the extend range
Mm-hmm.
and making it the stim cipher to make a task easier.
I feel like Henry might be right, but I'm not going to look it up right now. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure we do.
But all right. So, at this point, you can see the you watch as basically periodically throughout as the auction has been going, like you can see several different items that get brought up onto stage, and then one after the other, basically like in waves of items, and like one after the other they get they get put forward and put up to auction. And
Do
then
we see the black box?
yeah, that one you would see as it basically is getting sold right now, and you can see that it is being claimed. There is a group, a group. Actually, at this point, Mason, you would like refocus, kind of back onto the auction. And you can see as Nyx just says, "And sold to the Alzirus party. Thank you." And you can see that you glance over and you see a group of rough-looking individuals. A few of them are Ractids, actually, that are sort of like being pretty congratulatory as the box is being moved back off the stage and more items are being brought in. You actually also recognize, there it is. You can actually see the artifact. As you're standing there watching, noticing the artifact for the first time, you can see as there appears to be an argument happening in the background between a couple of the Duragas, as one of them is just sort of gesturing just sort of emphatically at the other, just pointing into the artifact and just pointing like out the other direction, as the other one just sort of shrugs and just and you can see as they begin taking the artifact and moving it. In basically right now, what's happening is there's like sort of a changeover in like the items. They're bringing in the new set, and Nyx takes a step away from the podium and goes over to the two of them, and you can see as he just sort of gestures to the two and starts speaking a few words, and in the end you see that the artifact is taken off the stage again.
Is Ellis visible?
Yeah, he is.
Wait, the two figures are being Ellis and
No, just a couple of different individuals that
people
were
who
like
were
just
working
some of the Duragas that
Just
were
stage hands.
basically, yeah.
Okay.
Did that get a weird reaction from anyone in the crowd? An item coming out and then leaving again?
You're not really sure that anybody noticed. Like, and nobody around you certainly did.
Okay.
If we can see Damian Ellis, did he react to that?
Not really. He was watching it, but he wasn't really like reacting.
I would have probably kept an eye on this brother sister that I talked to earlier. Did they react? Like, did the brother react at all? I probably would have positioned myself somewhere where I could see them.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that their heads are together and they're talking. But that's about it.
Okay.
At this point, you can see as like Mason kind of glancing back to the outside. You can see where there are you can see that the security on the outside is starting to move kind of more into the crowd a little bit. A couple of them.
Oh, we do not like that.
Yeah. At which point, Ellis kind of glances around the room and then walks up onto the stage and whispers in Nyx's ear as he just nods and gestures to the mic as Ellis steps up and says, "Excuse me, everyone. I know you're anxious to get to the next set of items, but I do actually have a quick little announcement." That is,
Sorrento left their lights on.
he says, "We actually tonight. I'm not, in fact, your only guest of honor. In fact, we have a few individuals that I'd like to personally welcome." As he nods over to the woman who basically you see as the guards surge forward and weapons come up and they're sort of like gasping as the floor sort of begins to kind of clear a little bit around you, as basically like spotlights sort of swing over towards your group.
Our group?
Yep. As Ellis says, "I'd like for all of you to give a warm Border Worlds welcome to the criminals responsible for the destruction of one of Silverbreak's own colonies. Truly inspired work, all of you. Says, it's good to meet you and face to face." As you watch as the people start kind of moving away from you, kind of moving towards.
What are people's reactions?
Mostly curiosity at this point.
Okay.
I want to move so that I'm like in front of the group and I've got my hand on my sword.
Mm-hmm.
I want to body block because these guys cannot take a hit.
Yeah. So Ellis says, he leans forward on the podium and just says, "I have to admit I didn't expect to see you here. Really, I wish we could have met under better circumstances."
Oh no. Have met under really no circumstances, but nice to finally see you. And I'm gonna start walking towards the stage.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That was my idea. That was my goal.
Yeah, you see as immediately like some of the guards who have started to close ranks in front of you, blocking your path to the stage.
Not really a nice way to treat guests of honor, but that's what I say. I'm just gonna kind of go back, like kind of lean back with my friends,
Yeah.
but kind of eyeing the guards with a polite smile. But
Bina's going to adopt the cool visage of someone she saw walking around earlier and is going to attempt to be like stony faced to the best of her ability.
How many guards are we being surrounded by?
Quite a few, like a couple
Like-
dozen.
Okay.
Are they actively like hostile aggro, or are they just kind of like following orders and just surrounding us right now?
That's mostly what they're doing. Is that
Just surrounding?
Yep.
Okay.
I step forward and I raise my voice up, and it's like cracking a little bit, and I'm just like, it may not have been face to face, Ellis, but you know we already met above that planet where you framed us for glassing your own colony
Oh.
and killing all those people.
Holy shit.
He says.
I think we're supposed to be criminals, aren't we?
He just sort of smiles at you and just says, "That's a pretty serious accusation, Olam." I don't know. Says, "What do you all think? Does that seem like something I would do?" And you can just sort of hear like the people around you, like there's just muttering, like there's not really any reaction. Mostly everybody is just, Bina, what you can feel is just sort of general tension. Like there, and you can feel more than anything, you can feel that like tension in the room is just rising.
I have a very stupid idea.
now's a great time for it.
He's just chilling.
Yeah, well, real quick, just so like as whatever
Yeah.
you're doing right now, he's like turning and looking at Nix. He says, "Mr. Nix, I think I'd actually, I don't think I'll be leaving with only the artifact, if that's all right with you." Nix just sort of nods, and they start, like basically like other than the guards, their attention is off of you. They're just conversing at this point.
Oh, this wasn't addressed to him. I would have tried to reply after his comment to Olam. I think Bina would have like kind of like sidestepped because she's been trying to stay behind people. Would kind of like just like sidestep and just say, "Oh God, lying's not a very admirable trait. Don't you think these people deserve to know what kind of person they're dealing with?" And I would like to attempt to use fast talk to impart the action, tell the truth. Tell us. I don't know if it's gonna help here, but
Oh goodness.
All right. So
At
this
least
is
some
gonna be
drama.
an intellect roll.
yeah,
The difficulty is gonna be
big
10.
one. It is. I don't know if it's gonna
10
happen.
social interactions, pleasant or otherwise.
Yeah, that'll factor in.
I thought you were gonna get encouragement, perhaps.
Oh, I can do encouragement. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're doing some talking. I can add
Talking.
encouragement.
Okay. I'm working with the dispositions. I know he's lying. Does that help at all here? Because I have
Sure.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I'd say
tasks.
so.
Okay. That one, encouragement, social interactions, pleasant or otherwise. Oh fuck. Oh, I can't lower it very far, guys.
I'd back her up in any way using my training in intimidation.
Effort.
I don't
Can you use effort?
I can and I will, but yeah, I don't have the power. I have power shift and not this one. But I will dunk. Oh shit! I'll dunk 2 levels of effort.
Okay. That'll bring it down to a difficulty 5.
Yep. This is extremely stupid.
All right, so that's
And probably not helpful.
currently at a 15 or better.
Yep. That's all I can do, I think. Oh shit.
Easy, you got it.
Ugh.
There's nothing else we could do.
Not weapons, vehicle driving, piloting, intellect defense. No, that's an inability. Just kidding. Perception task involving sight. Unless my eyes are helping, then no.
Okay.
This is so stupid.
Oh my god.
Holy shit!
Oof.
Caitlin's power!
Oh
Wow.
my god.
All right. So
Holy shit!
Oh, major
Get the
effect.
So
crowd on our
sorry to everyone
side.
who's wearing headphones.
Major
It's
effect.
fine.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god, Caitlin!
If you don't mind,
Lord.
Caitlin,
Yeah.
I'll take this major effect from you because I've got something. So,
Yes, please.
Okay.
I couldn't think of anything anyways.
All right. So, Ellis just sort of stops, kind of mid conversation with
Even
Nyx.
just little 5 foot, just like.
Yeah.
Love it.
And you see as he turns and looks directly at you, as he steps back over to the podium and just says, "The truth." Well, the truth is that you did destroy that colony. You destroyed it by being there, by seeing things that shouldn't have been seen. The truth is that I glassed the colony because you saw it. Because you saw what happened. Because I lost you and the others that you arrived there with. And the truth is, there's not a single person in this room who cares. He says, so, if you wouldn't mind. And at this moment, he's like just, you can see as he reaches out and he's just about to like gesture and give a command to the woman that came in with him. And at that exact moment, you hear the very distinct sound of a weapon discharge somewhere in the crowd. As you turn, you turn and look, and you see one individual, the guy in the red that you had noted earlier, Bina, just falls, like clutching his chest, just falls to the ground, where there's like a smoking hole, and there's just a beat, and suddenly the whole room is fire. There is just an eruption of chaos as the tensions that you felt mounting before, the tension that were just barely held under the surface due to the conventions of this gathering, just shatter, and it is a war zone in this room as suddenly various factions just begin turning on each other, taking the opportunity of their distracted enemies to just go at it. As you immediately, just chaos breaks out. The guards immediately are like, don't know where to look. The ones that have been surrounding you don't know where to look. They start looking all around. Some of them are actually still trying to keep you in their sights, but others are like whirling around and trying to deal with the sudden outbreak of hostilities that has just broken out in this area. You immediately are just, there's a hail of weapons fire that just erupts all over the place.
Well, get down, get behind me.
Should we go? Should we go? Like, we should go, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna lead a charge through the guards while they're distracted.
So is the artifact? We saw it be taken off stage, right? Can we like run for where the kind of like?
Yeah, you could
Well,
do that.
also wherever, I know this isn't the priority at all, but the Alzirus party, or wherever they are too. This might be a good time.
They
to
don't
just...
have the artifact yet. I
Oh,
think they
well, no,
get
they
it
don't-
later, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Right, correct, Lucas, or am I wrong with that?
We saw them take the artifact off stage, right, for
Yeah, they-
Silverbraid.
The
Wait,
artifact.
no, the Alzirus party has the black box.
No, they don't have it. They don't
they
have
They
it.
don't have it right now. Okay.
Things to keep it smooth generally in auctions, things come on, they bid, and it goes back off, and then
Mm-hmm.
afterwards there's like a transit period.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's when we were supposed to go get things, but now
Yeah. All right. So, as you guys are turning to suddenly make your way out of this room, in the chaos breaking out,
Let's go.
I'll need somebody to head a check for you to get get the hell out of this place.
What variety of check is
Can we
this?
be
I think
running
you can
towards
pick.
where we saw the artifact go off stage? Is that the idea here?
I assume that's where we're going,
You
unless someone has a better
can.
idea.
I mean, that's
or we know
directly
we know
towards.
the map of this place.
Yeah, that's directly towards where Ellis is standing.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So, but there, you know that there is a corridor that runs behind where the stage is that you can get to through one of the exits to this room.
So we
Okay.
could go like a
So
back
amazing.
way.
Can I was gonna say, can I like scan the room and look for like biggest path of egress between chaos? Is that something we could find, or is it just too chaotic to find, like, to duck and weave?
It's pretty chaotic, and nothing is staying like. It's
Okay.
like it's constantly shifting. There's nothing is staying particularly open or clear for any long period of time.
Okay. So that would be my idea to lead it, but if someone has a
Okay.
better idea.
If I may, what I want to do is, I learned hover a second time, so now I can hover at the same speed I can move on foot. So I want to just like launch myself
Oh, God.
up, like 20 feet into the air, and then if I may, however you rule this, I use my push ability just to shove a shitload of people out of the way.
Oh
Path.
my god.
Oh God, yes. Okay, so
I think push is probably by rules limited to a single target, but I'll spend some more to
Sure.
make that do
yeah,
more.
I'll give you it'll be an initial cost of, I'd say an initial cost of 3 for that.
Okay, so then let me see. Push is not super expensive on its own. So 3. So I'm
Yeah,
okay. So I end up spending 2 intellect.
yeah. I'm not. And with that initial cost, I'm not gonna make you roll for it. I'm just gonna have you do it. So.
Okay.
Okay, so as you hover up and you like shoot up into the air and just shove both of your hands outward, and you watch as like essentially it looks like this whole swath of people, guards, attendees, their security detail. You watch as it almost looks like they fall towards the opposite wall, like they fall towards it.
Yes.
As like a sudden like lateral shift of gravity sends them tumbling towards the far wall, creating just enough space between them as they attempt to disentangle themselves, but creates a perfect opening for all of you to just run.
Go.
As we're on our way out, and Ellis, I can still kind of see him. I want to use Dreamcraft to put a really scary looking warped like an inch away from his face with his exact same face
Ooh. Okay. Sounds good.
as we leave.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, you're just gonna do that.
Yeah,
as-
it's like what it's. Yeah, I have a power shift in it. It'll probably look pretty scary,
Yeah.
but like it would be an illusion. But.
You do that, and you see as he starts like mostly he just stiffens very suddenly and just stares at it, and then you watch as his eyes just flick directly to you. Like he has no reaction to it whatsoever. He just looks directly to you, makes eye contact with you, as he's watching you, and you can just see sort of a vague smile playing across his face as you like exiting from this room. You lose sight of him.
Yeah, he knows all our powers, guys. He
I
knows what we can
know.
do. Well, everything that Abriel knows we can do, he knows we can do.
All right, so
Such a fucking asshole.
you find yourselves now running through the corridor. You running kind of like parallel to the room that you had just been in. You are able to see there is a single cart being pushed by one individual wearing the Duraga insignia. A couple of others surrounding him. There's 3 of them in total, and all of them are like looking at each other like kind of confused, having heard the eruption of things. You can see that they're starting to pull out weapons. They're looking at each other uncertainly.
I say, "Excuse me," and I'm gonna enthrall 2 of them.
All right.
I can do that with my power shift.
Yeah, go ahead and this is not a difficult roll. This is a difficulty 3. Do you even need to roll on this?
Is this social interaction?
Sure, why not?
I'm using the power shift for targets, so I can't get it for the roll. So social interaction plus another one.
I can give you some encouragement if you're.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take it.
Sure.
I have enthrall.
Okay. You and you said 3, difficulty 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's currently sitting at 1.
Should I just go for it?
Just roll.
All right.
Yeah, but
3 or
I'm
better.
worried when I just rolled really well, so I'm worried I'm gonna roll really bad.
3 or better. 3 or better.
17!
Okay.
Ah!
Okay.
You watch as two
Two
of
of
them
them.
immediately, like, there's just
Two
these...
with weapons. I'm assuming the one on the cart didn't have a weapon. but
Doesn't
I
have
could
it
be wrong.
drawn, but the other two, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the two with weapons out.
Yeah.
Like, hey! And then...
Yeah, they all, like, they suddenly turn towards you, and then they just have that sort of, like, starburst sort of, like, effect sort of near their eyes as they're just sort of staring towards you, and their weapons
So Bina is
sort of go down.
out for the count now,
Yeah.
so you guys go for it.
And then that other guy, you're outnumbered. Auction's over.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make a roll.
Very.
Intimidation?
This is gonna be a might roll. Yeah, the difficulty on
Okay.
this one is gonna be 3 as well.
Okay, I have intimidation.
Mhm.
I'm assuming it's gonna
Yeah.
factor into it. And if it's might, I will absolutely spend 1 because my edge eats 2 of it.
Dope.
So that means I'm at 15 might, and I need a 3 or a better.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
That is a 18.
So you watch as he like stares at his companions. You watch as he's just sort of, and then looks directly at you and just, "That's right. Congratulations on winning." And he just sort of backs up.
Thank you.
And kind of pushes the cart towards you. And on it, you can see basically like a small metal case. And just sort of quickly opening it, looking inside, you can see the black boxes in there.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Depending on
I
how
grabbed
close.
that.
Oh, were we really close to them? Okay, never mind.
Is there anything else in the cart, or is it just that one?
No,
thing?
it's just that one thing right now.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. I should be greedy. I'm like, thank you so much. You should run right now.
He says, "Yeah, I think there's a sort of an emergency happening, Beck," and he just like runs past you down the hallway, sort of like taking one last look at his stunned companions. He just runs.
We should keep going.
Looking back, you can see.
Y'all want to disarm them, or because I can't?
Oh yeah,
I
we
can't
should
move
probably
until...
like. Can I just knock one of them out? Just suck.
Sure, yeah, we'll say it. This isn't gonna cost a
Like
roll.
take the
But,
2 heads and bang them together.
yeah, just like grab them.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
Coconut noise.
The two of them just
Did
collapse.
Mason do that already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've done that before.
Screw.
We have a pattern. It's good. It's tactics.
Now I can grab 2 people at once. We don't need 2 people to set it up. It's great. We're getting more efficient.
All right. So you proceed running down the corridor. As you're making your way down the corridor, the sound of weapons fire behind you starts kind of fading into the distance as you begin wending your way through the corridors. However, pretty soon, Mason, you start to hear this like some of the same stuff from up ahead of you, like weapons fire. There appears to be some sort of shootout happening in a corridor just up ahead, and as you turn the corner, you can actually see a few individuals wearing, like, they have their backs to you, but they have a few individuals wearing the insignia of the Duragas, all sort of taking cover behind some of the natural, like, the buttresses from the side of the wall as they're like taking cover and firing around. A few things stand out to you. First and foremost, Desiree, you notice these individuals are your former crew.
Ones that have their backs to us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The next thing that you notice is that they have amongst them the artifact.
Okay.
The final and most important detail of this whole situation is that at the other end of the corridor, you can see there are 4 arms poking out from behind one of the buttresses, firing weapons just like wildly into the in the direction of the others.
Are these any named individuals or just random grunts?
You can see Lash is there, just sort of crouched down, like back against one of the walls. You can see a few of the other crew members, but you also do notice, like leaning up against the wall, like kind of taking cover. You can see a Nelfin woman wearing sort of a longer coat, which actually Peach you would recognize from your premonition back in the warehouse. You recognize the same form and the same coat.
And they have their backs to us right now.
Yep.
Amazing. She's mine.
Do we want to use them for cover right now? We don't want to get rid of them while they're fighting people who probably also want the artifact. Wait, no, they're fighting Orie and right. Okay, never mind. We're
and
good.
I go, the Nelfin's mine. If you kill Lash, that's fine, but like I prefer you didn't, but I don't really care. And I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go right for Saffron.
Okay.
Don't want to kill anybody.
Okay. So we're gonna do. Oh, God, sorry, what were you going to say, Freeman?
I just wanted to clarify who's holding on to the artifact.
Currently, it's Desiree's crew that has it.
Mm-hmm. Is it
So
like in a cart? Or is it in a cart?
Yeah.
Or is one of them holding it? Okay,
No,
it's in a cart.
Yeah, it's in a cart. The cart is sort of like abandoned as the rest of them all just like dived to the side and took cover pretty clearly. But,
Oh.
Is the artifact
Perfect.
small enough that a person could carry it?
the artifact is probably about this size. It's a sphere
So-
about this size.
Okay,
It's sort of
okay,
you can
not
see that
very small.
it's smooth, and you can see that within it you can see almost like swirling cloud that looks like swirling cloud within it, as well as like some sort of internal illumination that you can't see the source of.
Okay, so parties involved. Us yet to be seen. Crew with the artifact.
Mhm.
Presumably Orie Odo and Rukk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what we can see right
Yep.
now, or is there a fourth party?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure
So
I got that right.
we're gonna go ahead and do this initiative style. So
Do we get a surprise round?
yes, definitely.
Amazing. I love surprise rounds.
Yep. Okay, so
What's the difficulty? Because
uh,
I can't lower it.
yeah, the difficulty on this initiative is going to be 4.
I
Can't
am
lower it.
specialized, so that's going to go down to 2, and I want to spend another one because I want to go before these guys.
Okay. All right.
Oh shit!
All right, dexterity
the first
power
initiative.
shift.
Wait, what's the difficulty again? 4?
The difficulty is 4. Yeah, on the initiative check.
I just rolled another 17, y'all.
Nice. I got a 12, and my difficulty was only out of 1, so I'm
All right. Cool.
I got a 1.
All right.
I got a 14. I used my dexterity power shift to lower the difficulty
Okay.
a little bit.
Awesome. So then,
I rolled a 17.
so like
Nice.
so everybody goes first, then them, and then Olam.
Does a 1 on initiative hit me with an intrusion?
Does it count on initiative, or is it other actions?
For the sake of,
I actually don't know.
I think the answer is yes, but for the sake of this, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do the intrusion as Olam. You like as you're all surging forward, you can see like one of the blasts that's coming in your direction from Orie comes very close to you, just sort of zooming past your ear. You can feel the heat of it, and you just sort of cry out involuntarily, which causes both.
we lose our surprise round.
I'm gonna say you don't, but like they definitely know that you're there. But yeah, I'll say this, that you still have it against everybody except for on Saffron and Lash. Both of them just sort of like heads jerk in your direction as they see you coming, and just so decide amongst yourselves who gets to go first.
Can I just get a number on how many pirates are there?
Right now,
currently?
there's probably about 9 of them, not including Lash and Saffron. So like,
Not including them?
not including them.
Is Saffron standing close to anyone?
Relatively, yeah. I mean, she's like with basically taking cover in the same place as like a couple of people.
So, like, could be within slashing range of 2 people at one time?
Mhm.
Perfect. Can I take this, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go for it.
I want to run and use my Mighty Blow to do an attack on Saffron and an attack on the person who's next to her.
Okay. So go ahead and make. Do you make attack? Is it one attack, or do you make them against both?
Make separate attacks for each foe, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But both attacks count as a single action in a single round.
Okay, cool. So with against Saffron, it's a difficulty of difficulty 5. Against the others, it's 3.
Okay, so I've got my quick draw, which not quick draw, the other one. Surprise attack. So it's reduced by 1 step because I'm going before she's acted.
Okay.
And stuff that affects it is going to affect both of them. But I'm still limited by amount of effort I can apply to the action. Yeah, I think that modifies the attack for damage applies to both. So Saffron is down to 4, and I have my eye patch, which is an asset, down to 3.
Mhm.
Then I have training with medium bladed attacks down to 2. I really want to hit her.
Okay.
I really want to hit her very badly, so I'm going to spend 1 point of effort.
All right. Sounds good. So it's a difficulty 1 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my blow is a 2-point spend, but I have an edge of 2.
Okay.
And then the other guy I just hit automatically because
Okay.
of the reductions.
Oh yeah.
My dice just fell on the floor. I'm gonna roll a different dice. 12
Okay.
for that. So I hit and I do, also because of surprise attack, I inflict 2 additional points of damage. So that's going to be 6 damage on both of them.
Ooh.
And as I run up, I want to essentially slash at the first unnamed person. I'm assuming they have a name, but I don't care about them right now. Slash at them, just like aiming for their midsection, and then use my blade to kick out with my foot at Cypher. And I'm going to be like, "You're going to regret the day you gave me this."
All right. So the first one just goes down like immediately. Like did not see you coming, was not aware of you, just down.
Sick.
Saffron just barely has time to like roll like along the side of the wall away from the attack as you just sort of she basically like pushes away from it as your bladed leg just comes directly towards her. As she looks at you, she says, "You know, I was hoping that I'd get a chance to do this." And you watch as she pulls just a single bladed weapon, and you can see that this is basically a it's essentially like an electro blade, where basically like you can see as she activates it, there's like the crackling electricity that sort of starts surging along it. As she sort of takes it out, and pistol in one hand, blade in the other, as the two of you begin engaging. Who's up next?
I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing. I do know I'm. Okay, actually, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the artifact is a short distance away?
Yes, I would say that.
Oh, I'd like to fleet my feet over there.
All right.
I'd like to dash.
All right.
Whatever the. Yeah. I'd like to run to
Is there someone holding it right now on the cart?
No, the cart was basically abandoned in the middle of the corridor.
Okay, perfect, cool.
They are basically like on either side of the cart, but on like in taking cover in the corridor. Mason, you just rush forward, and just you are able to grab the artifact pretty easily, before anybody's able to do anything about it.
Perfect.
Yeah. And are you acting on this turn? We figured out, by the way, that with Mason's power shifts, normally the way that this ability works is that he has to succeed on a difficulty 2 check, in order to act and move in the same turn. But Mason has 2 power shifts in exactly this, so he just succeeds.
He does
so
it.
he just does it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trained in running.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, even better. So yeah, Mason just succeeds. So are you acting at all?
Could I run back, or is this my?
Oh yeah, you
moment
totally
of-
can.
Yeah, just with the artifact, just backwards run.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, Mason just speeds in without anybody noticing that you guys were there, and nobody fast enough to react here. Mason just runs in and grabs the artifact and just starts running. And then starts running back. What I will say, Mason, is as soon as your hand touches the artifact, you feel a sudden flash of an oppressive presence that is watching you. You don't know, it's just a quick flash of it. You feel it as you touch, and you just sort of stop for a moment, then you grab it, and then just run.
Okay. Ooh, I like that. All right. Ooh, spooky. So it looks like to you guys, just like a zip zip, but not like quite like the Flash, like Captain America, I think.
Yeah, it's very very fast. All right, so that's Mason. Who is next? Peach or Bina?
I can just do something real quick.
Sure.
I'm gonna the two that are like kind of closest to us that seem to be the most imminent threat. Well, actually, are there? Yeah, probably. Okay, yeah, the ones that are closest to us. I'm gonna just use my power shift and put 2 folks to sleep that are closest.
Okay. Do you even need to roll for that? It'd be a difficulty 3.
I'm honestly I'm not sure because this character sheet doesn't have the ability written down clearly.
Oh, no.
So I can just I have it up though, like
Okay.
like here. No, because we determined how much it costs. So, but I think my edge eats it because I have an edge of 2, and I think it was like 2 points to put someone to sleep. I think I do have to roll though.
Okay.
But I am trained in it.
Right. You're trained, so that's 1, and then
Do you have power shifts in it?
Yeah, but I used it to do 2 targets.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna spend. I don't think I have anything else that would really help with that, because I already used
Sure.
a power shift. But I'm just gonna spend a level of effort, and then I'm just gonna roll because that's
Okay,
what,
yeah,
like, a
go for it.
difficulty 1 or something
Mhm.
now.
so 3 or better.
Okay. 11.
Okay. So you watch as 2 of them that are kind of crouching behind cover immediately just sort of slump over and slide down against the wall. Yeah.
I'm just gonna yawn.
Yeah. All right, Bina.
So I'm gonna stay like at the corner so I can keep an eye out down the hallway as well, just in case shit there's more. There are more people in this building, but I wanna get Saffron and be like, hey, look at me, hey, like I'm just annoying, try to get Saffron's attention. hey, and then I'm gonna enthrall her. I want her to not take her action this next turn.
Okay. That is going to be a difficulty 5.
Okay, I'm not using power shift for multiple targets, so 2. Can I use social interaction? Pleasant or otherwise?
I don't know about that for this one.
I'm being not pleasant in a social interaction.
I think this is more of a combat
I know,
interaction than a social interaction.
I'm being annoying. It's fine. I think that might be all I could do. You're there. I'll spend 1 level.
Okay. So it's a difficulty 2, so 6 or better.
Yes. No! 3.
Okay.
It fails. I'm not gonna reroll.
Okay. She
Oh no.
Yeah, you can see sort of like some of that like starburst sort of like pattern start to burst up around her eyes, and she just sort of shakes her head and just basically totally ignores you. She's fully focused on Desiree right now.
Alright, I tried.
All right. So actually,
Alright, good try.
it is now their turn. The only Lash and Saffron can go right now because the others still are not aware of you. And so Saffron is going to just going to slash out with her blade at Desiree. So this is going to be a speed defense roll. Difficulty is 6.
Ooh, okay, cool, great, no problem. I'm trained in speed defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only thing that I have for my abilities. This isn't balancing. I could maybe no, absolutely not. And I don't think my target lock is gonna help me with this. So I will spend 2 points of speed because yikes.
All right.
Hold on, let me do some math. If I have an edge of 1, that means it's a spend of 4.
Yes.
To drop
Cool.
2 levels up, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So all right. So it's difficulty 3 right now.
Okay.
God.
Yeah, 9 or better.
Should have just encouraged you. I'm not useful in combat.
5.
Oof. Okay. So
I don't.
Hmm?
Hold on. Let me think about this. I don't think I want to reroll it. Not
Okay.
yet. I've got some might to lose.
Okay, so you would take 6 points of damage from that, and then whatever reductions you have from.
From armor, so I take 3
Mhm.
to my might.
Yeah. So she strikes out with the blade, and then is immediately going to take a shot at you with the pistol. The speed,
Okay.
defense, the difficulty of that one is also no. The difficulty of this one is actually 5.
Okay.
Difficulty of this one is 5.
So speed defense training. I feel like I don't want to spend more speed. I feel like that might be. I feel like I might try to take it. I'll spend 1.
Okay.
I'll spend 1. So down 2. So it's a difficulty 3 because I lowered it 2.
Yep.
So 9 or better.
Oh no.
I think I want to reroll that because that was a 1.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go ahead and cross up that XP because I don't want, like, she's not gonna humiliate me. If she hits me, that's fine, but she's not gonna humiliate me by making me roll over or something. Ooh, that's a 10. Ooh, okay, good.
All right.
Awesome.
Great. So her attack connects with you as you start spinning away. You can feel like essentially what happens is as your blades connect, you see like the electricity sparks off of the blade and travels along yours and just sort of gives you sort of that sort of numb arm sensation. And then she immediately follows up with a pistol shot, which you deftly sort of spin away from. And she turns and looks at you and she says, "You were taking us nowhere, Captain. She says, you were too concerned with your reputation and the next woman."
If only you could find the next woman.
All right. Lash is going to take her action to follow Mason, because she just watched you rush over and grab the artifact. She basically immediately, like double pistol fires fires at Mason. So I need you to make a speed defense roll. The difficulty of this is 5.
This is like my thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
I'm gonna toss that dexterity power shift in there. So let's
So
see,
it's
that's
automatically
2.
down to 3. Yeah, down to 3. And then, yeah.
Hmm?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, and then what was the other thing I had? I had it. No, not assessing danger.
Are you,
But I could
trained in
use.
speed defense rolls.
yeah, are you trained in
Yes.
speed? Okay. So,
So that's good. Does that bring it down to?
yeah, it brings
2?
it down to difficulty 2. So 6 or
right.
better right now.
Yeah, sorry, my notes are kind of sprawled, but yeah, I think I can rely on that. 6 or
All right.
better.
Go ahead and
Okay.
roll.
13.
Okay. So so she immediately like begins unloading towards you, Mason, and you just dive roll out of the way. Like it is like with superhuman speed just dives almost as if you saw it coming.
Whoa.
Yeah. She just then immediately like another set of arms coming up, leveling more pistols. She takes yet more shots at you. So again, I need you to make the same roll.
Same difficulty.
Yep.
And I can do all the same things.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh. 17.
Okay. Yeah. So once again, basically like Mason, you're just dodging out of the way as weapons fire starts like raining down on your location. As she just you can hear her just sort of growling as she in frustration as she's firing at you and missing entirely with every single shot. The others are taking shots down the corridor and are beginning to notice that you were there, and they all turn around, but that is literally their whole thing. So Olam, it's on you. What are you up to?
Okay, I haul back and just want to send an onslaught of gravitonic energy at Saffron.
Okay. The difficulty is going to on this one is going to be difficulty is going to be 5. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna spend 2 levels of effort for the roll and put the power shifts into damage.
Okay. Sounds good.
So that would be 1 to fire off the ability by itself, and then 2 levels of effort costs 5. So 6. My edge is 3. Costs cost me 3 for my intellect pool. And I'm trying to hit 9 or better now at difficulty 3. I would like a high roll, please. I didn't get one. I
No.
rolled
Oh,
a
no.
3. And
no.
I have only 1 XP. I'm not going to spend it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Yeah. So you see as she ducks, you can watch as the corridor, like the wall of the corridor, just dents with the impact of the onslaught. Like there's just this huge just dent in the wall now, where Olam missed and constricted, like the gravity just literally pushed out from pushed the corridor wall out, the metal wall just starting to buckle under the pressure. Which brings us, I believe, back up to the top. So who's up next?
Desiree, right?
Only if I want to go. I don't know if anyone wants to do like buffs or debuffs before I take more shots.
I will encourage you.
Wait,
And then
this encouragement is pretty specifically in stuff that you're trained in. Is it not?
Defense, attack, or if you're trained
attack,
you're
okay.
trained.
Yeah, attack
Cool.
action specifically.
I
So
always
you can
forget
use it
about
on your
that.
attack, or you can save it for your next defense.
Okay, I always forget about that part of it, but yeah, continue.
Because we never use it. We
We don't use it
Yeah.
in combat super often.
That's right, yeah.
and I might have a stupid idea. If I try and do a player intrusion and speak, would that be my action?
Player intrusion can happen at any
Yeah,
point, but that's a GM rule, I think.
yeah.
Maybe I don't even need to do a player intrusion. I essentially I want to say something to Lash. I will absolutely spend for a player intrusion if you would like me to, depending on how you like what I say or not.
A player intrusion isn't so much focused on you. It's more focused on something that you want to change about.
Make something true.
Yeah.
basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. Okay. Cool.
I mean, you can if you want to. I'll allow it. You're speaking basically. So
yeah, I don't know if I guess what I wanted to make true was I don't even know. I don't know how Lash is thinking, but I wanted to.
If you're speaking, you have encouragement from me, which I have a lot of talking and social interaction things. You could get an asset for that.
But you have to choose what you're encouraging, though. That's the thing. You can't. You don't just get to all of those things.
Okay.
I'll just attack this round, and if things look bad, I'll try my thing on Lash and see if I can get her to change sides. But I'll just take a swipe at Saffron because there's no one else within melee range of me right now, right?
There might be at least one other person, but yeah.
Okay. So same deal. Well, no, I want to put more damage onto Saffron, so I'll do my thrust, which is just a 1 point spend, so that eats it. That's just for extra damage. So same thing, right? 5?
Yes.
To hit her?
Difficulty 5.
Okay. So we've got training, and we've got my target lock, and then my surprise attack is no longer a thing. So I'll roll for 3 or better.
Okay.
14!
Okay.
I did it.
Yes.
So she's going to take 5 points of damage.
All right. All right. You can see as
And I'm saving my encouragement for the speed defenses, because those are nasty.
Okay. So you well, it's up to, just to clarify, it's up to Bina what she's doing to what she's encouraging
I
on.
did say defense right away.
Okay.
I had asked if she wanted it for defense
Okay.
or attack.
Cool. All right. Then in that case, so yeah, you strike out at her, kind of catching her just sort of as just unawares, forcing her to retreat just a little bit from you, as you gain ground. If you want to say something, you can. It's up to you.
So just over my shoulder, I will yell at Lash, and I'll say, I came to you to find Ozareth, but I found you instead. Fight with me. I believe in you. I believed in you. I still do.
Okay. I'm gonna have you make a roll.
Okay.
No
social skills whatsoever. This
Yeah.
is not
I encourage-
intimidation.
Can I encourage? I'm specialized in pleasant social interactions.
Sure.
It'd be your action for the turn, yeah.
Yeah, I'll help. I'm gonna help.
Okay. So
What's my difficulty?
the difficulty on this is going to be 4.
Okay. So I've got 1 from Peach, and then I want to.
Does their relationship have like prior relationship help in any way because they know each other? Does that?
Gee.
It'll play a
I'm
role.
saying I don't know their relationship. I don't know what
No,
tangled webs they weave, but
it's playing a role. Don't worry. I'm
Okay,
taking that into
cool.
account.
Yeah, you know what? This is an intellect thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do 2 levels of effort, and it's gonna
yeah.
hurt, but I think it's what Desiree wants to try and do.
All right.
So
Oh, yeah.
difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1, 3 or better.
Yay.
7. All right. Lash just sort of like, basically like, tossing aside a couple of empty pistols, pulling out, like drawing another set. She just looks at you, and just there's a moment as like your eyes just sort of meet briefly, and then she turns back to kind of look at the rest of the group. Who's up next?
I've gone.
now.
So Mason, it's on you. You're the one.
Oh, that's right. Olm doesn't go until. Okay, yeah. Well, so does it look like my the one attacking me is no longer?
Hard to
Engaging?
tell. It's hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
Also, just before we, I'm just gonna pause for a second. But isn't encouragement an enabler?
What do you mean?
It's an
Yes.
enabler, isn't it?
It's an action.
I believe it's an action.
It is an action.
It says
okay.
action.
Oh, okay.
In the yeah.
In my
You have.
notes.
I thought it was an enabler too, but
Yeah, I
I
always thought
had
it
looked
was.
at it. I always assumed it was, but it does say action. I think you can do it whenever, but like it does take your whole action.
Okay.
Like you can do it on top of someone else's action to help them, but I think that's.
Okay. Cool.
We can look into it later, but yeah,
Sure.
that's what I'm basing this off of right now.
Sounds good. Mason. So what are you doing?
Actually, I'll do something real simple. I'll pull out my pistol and I'll aim for one of the enemies
Okay.
that are not either
Oh yeah.
dazed and
Unnamed.
confused or something else.
All right. Sounds good.
Pirate number 4.
Yeah.
Pirate
Difficulty is
number-
the difficulty on that is 3. So.
Okay. Setting it to stun. Setting...
So like
Uh,
artifact under one arm, pistol out, firing,
That's
and yeah.
Correct. And I am trained in light and medium weapons,
So that'll reduce by 1.
so and I'm good with that. I'll just
Okay.
roll. It's a 6 or better.
Yes.
Yeah.
6 or better.
I'm good with that. Unless it's that one time. No, it's not though. I got an 11.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you fire at one of these guys, and that's how much damage?
I don't. How does stun? I'm not sure how stun works.
Pretty much in this case, this actually, given that, I think he just goes down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Just goes down. So hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So there's another one. All right. It's their turn as they are starting to become aware of what is happening, and
Ooh.
tell you what, this is how I'm gonna do this because there's still a fair few of them left. I need Mason and Olim and Bina to make speed defense rolls, difficulty 3. As basically one person turns to fire at Bina, and the other 4 divide evenly between Olim and Mason.
How does my shield work? Is it do I use it on defense tasks or do I have to declare that I'm using it?
I think it is it's an armor thing.
Okay, so we flavor it as a shield, but it's just armor that I always have.
Yeah, we may want to revisit that, but for right now,
Okay.
that's what
I would have put it up at the beginning of this fight, but I forgot that it's not like a thing that I'm wearing. It's a.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I think it makes more sense for it to apply to your defense rolls, basically
So like give me an asset.
an
instead of
asset to
being-
defense
Okay.
rolls.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm into that.
I
I
would
think-
say I'm pretty sure the way that like a medieval shield works in Cypher is just an asset to speed defense.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think
I'm into that.
yeah, I
Pretty
think
analogous.
that makes more sense to me, I think. So yeah.
I will update my notes. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, what was it? It was a 3? Or
Yeah, difficulty 3.
okay. 13.
Okay.
15.
Sensing dispositions wouldn't help here to see it coming in any way.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Just then I just downed 1 from my shield. Oh, 16. Ah, success.
Okay. So, all of the shots go wide as Bina, you bring up yours and your shield, and you see as the impact, like you see the impacts on the on the shield. As Mason, you continue to dodge around, and Olam, you should sort of duck back around the corner you just came around, and the shots.
I want to still be in like a state, like a sort of a semi-hovering flying state. Like I'm moving over, like I'm like going up and down and like bouncing off the walls and shit.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So, it does now. That said, they've all gone. So it does now bring us to Olam. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Damn. Okay, how far away is Orie Odo by himself?
Oh, sorry. Before it is your turn, I will say that it's Lash's turn, and on her turn, Lash just stands there. She's like you can see as she's just sort of watching Desiree and Saffron fighting. Just sort of glances around, but mostly is just fixated there. She just stands there. So Olam, yes, it is now your turn.
Can I see if Orie Odo is by himself over there?
Yeah, I'd say at this point you can see that he is definitely by himself.
How far is he? A short distance away?
No,
or
he's a long distance away.
distance away. Shit. And right now we've got the artifact. Okay. God damn it. I'm just gonna. I like for a sec. I'm like I like catch my feet and then I like kind of almost unconsciously float 3 or 4 feet above the ground, look around, and I just swing another onslaught at Saffron.
Okay.
This time, no effort, but I'll split the power shifts between attack and damage.
Okay. So difficulty is 5 here.
So one power shift drops it down to 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like. No, it's good. I'm gonna get a good roll. Damn it! 10. I miss again. I'm gonna spend my XP to reroll.
All right, go for it.
Spend my single XP to reroll.
Good. I'm glad you still have one. I was worried because you.
Oh,
chewed up.
come on, 11.
No.
You want to use one of my XPs?
Heck yeah. I was gonna say that. Ask
I
the
mean,
same.
sure, if you think if you.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
All right.
Okay. It's gonna be. Oh, well, actually, if the pattern follows, it'll be a 12. 7. God damn it. We can't go any farther. This is too bad.
Okay. So basically like another dent in the wall as Saffron just sort of whirls away from it this time. The coat just sort of like spreading out around her as she whirls, kind of fanning out as she finishes her spin and comes back up into sort of a ready position. Which brings us back up to the top. Who's going?
Who is like in like? Are they blocking the exit? Like, could we theoretically take the artifact and run?
They're in between you and Orie.
All of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, like you turn the corner in the corridor, and they were basically like right there, and Orie is beyond them.
That's like I wish I could just switch them their spot and our spot, but such things are not available to us now.
I can go. I can take another swipe at Saffron.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead. I was just figuring out if we could just run away.
You think I'm gonna run away from this? I'm gonna kill her first, and then I'll run away. 5, right? Difficulty 5.
Yep.
Okay, so and then my 2 from medium bladed and target lock eye patch. and I'm just doing my thrust again for extra damage.
Okay, sounds good.
So
Wait, I'll
3,
encourage for attack. Take another one.
So 6 or better. It's a 10!
Nice.
So 5 more points of damage on Saffron.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. She's gotta be looking hurt.
Oh yeah, she definitely looks pretty not great. Yeah, she stumbles back. This one cutting across like chest and shoulder as she stumbles back, and you can see like now like her long leather jacket is like ripped perfectly right where the slice cut across her as she stumbles back, stepping back a little bit into the corridor. Okay, who's up?
Or I'd just throw a couple more stuns.
Okay, sounds good. Go
at
ahead.
The next. Yep.
Yep. Same thing as
Same.
before, which I think you got down to. Yeah. What'd you get?
5.
5. So you're.
'Cause I got down.
You're.
I think I
yeah.
did. If I spend my dexterity power shift,
I don't think that
Wait, no,
that
I- no, you
applies
don't do
to
that for-
this. Yeah.
I don't do that for this. Sorry.
Okay.
Just shooting and
Yeah.
just being trained in those things.
Just so yeah, that wouldn't be enough.
There it is. There's that bad roll.
Just by one.
Unless-
You missed it by one.
I'm gonna use next speed.
Okay.
If that's okay.
All right.
I know it's just a stun, but I want to do it.
Okay.
3. Okay.
Gosh.
All right.
All right then.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Peach.
So how many are still around at this point? Like, what, like 5 or 6 of them?
There's still 5 that are up. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to kind of. I think the best thing to do is just take them out of the equation. So I'm just gonna again take the 2 that are most in the way, and just kind of say, "Aren't you all tired of all this crazy shit?" And just put them to sleep.
All right. It's difficulty 3 again.
So. Oh my god, I'm getting so tired. Okay, so I'm gonna spend for that because
Okay.
I don't think I have. Yeah, I didn't have anything that really helped. So
All right.
I'm just gonna spend 1 level of effort.
Brings it down to a difficulty 1, I think, right? Yeah, because you have the training in it and then a level of effort.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, 3 or better.
Okay, 3 or better. That's what we like to hear. 12.
Okay. So
I
another.
was so worried. We've had some bad rolls in a row.
Yeah, another 2 just slump down asleep on the floor.
There are now 4 asleep pirates.
Perfect.
Yep. All right. I think is that everybody who goes before? Yeah.
Binico?
Yeah.
I encouraged.
Yeah.
Ah,
All right. Then Desiree, I need you to make make a speed defense roll.
Is this the 6th one?
Yes.
Okay. For the 6th one, I want to spend effort.
Okay.
Did you
Make it
already use
possible.
my defense encouragement? Or does that apply to this one? Was there another turn in between?
I don't
I don't think
think
it was
I used it.
It doesn't matter, I don't think, because now you've switched to encouraging attack.
Same person. Well, there was 2 different encouragement. One was for the attack, and the earlier one was for defense.
Did Saffron attack me last round?
Does
I
it-
don't remember
I don't
it
think.
hurt.
I don't think that's. I'm not sure that that's how encouragement works. It's not like a thing. I don't think that it persists. I think you just.
No, I'm saying I don't think she did an attack. I don't think she's done an attack yet to use that encouragement from the last time. I don't remember her having to defend against Saffron since then.
I only
Did
have
we
to
skip?
defend
Did we
against
miss
her
a? Did we miss a turn somewhere?
We might have, but yeah, but it does. Yeah. It.
All right, so I'm at difficulty 4 from my training and from my effort spend.
Okay.
God. a 12. No, that's a 17. Ooh, that's better than a 12.
Ooh,
Okay.
all right.
Better than a 12.
Yeah. So this one you were able to just like parry it with no problem.
And then the other one is a difficulty 5, which I'll just reduce by my
Sure.
regular speed defense, and again.
Okay.
12 or better. 16! I'm
Nice.
scared. Why am I rolling so well on these?
Yeah.
I want to roll on attacks.
With this one, like basically following through on the parry, you're able to just like as she brings up, anticipating her bringing up the pistol, you tap her wrist with the end of your blade, like with the pommel, and the shot just goes wide past you as you throw off her aim. Okay. And then Lash is gonna go. As she turns, and as you basically finish defending Desiree, you come face to face with the barrel of Lash's pistol. As she just stares you down, and then just like there's a moment that passes before she turns and just fires, emptying the pistol's magazine into Saffron. As Saffron, caught completely off guard, just sort of and just collapses onto the ground. Lash just sort of as the others sort of turn to level their weapons at you, she just sort of puts up a hand and says, hold your fire. She turns and says, all right, Captain. She kind of glances around at the others and just says, where to?
This way, down the hall. I want to, real quick, does Saffron have anything important on her? Just like a quick, like, does she have the keys to my ship? Like,
no, but you do actually find a pretty substantial credit chit on her. So,
amazing. I just swipe that and then we go.
He was the owner of the key surrender. The key
Yeah.
fob says.
There, you see as you kind of begin gathering yourselves, Lash and the remaining crew begin waking those who are asleep. And as Orie walks up to you in the midst of all this, he just says, "Well, all right then. That was certainly a bracing encounter. Listen, we run into some trouble, and well, there may have been more security sweeps than we were expecting, and long story short, we can't take the hovercraft. That's gonna be Ruck's already left with it. I came to warn you that there was more happening than we originally thought."
I have 2 pieces of good news. 1, I have your nav log, and 2, I have my ship back.
Lash just says, "Actually, yeah. One of the benefits of this," and she points to the insignia, she says, "is that we get landing privileges."
You get taking off privileges too?
She says, "We make those ourselves."
Let's blow this popsicle stand.
Yeah. As you,
Siren.
yeah, picking up everybody who is still able to move. You all begin running. Like one of them has to carry this stunned individual, but like you basically all start like rushing down the corridors, changing course to the hangar.
Bye, Damien.
As
Hope
you
you get killed by mercenaries.
you run in, and Lily, did you want to describe the Siren's Lament?
Yeah, so it looks like a military grade dropship. It is like it's not huge, and it's clearly made for like speed. It's made to get in and get out real fast. So it kind of looks like like it has a bit of a saucer section essentially, and then at the front obviously the little command deck. So almost like Warbird style, like Romulan Warbird style ish, vaguely shaped like that. And she I don't know if someone might recognize it as Keldra military. depending on the
Probably
sort of
would.
training you had.
I
Yeah,
probably would as an
Bina
envoy.
probably would notice. This is like
Bina knows ships.
yeah, this is like Keldro military grade dropship.
Yeah.
Is she pretty?
She is
To Bina,
Yes.
the tech head.
yeah, actually looks like, even if maybe the flight isn't advanced, but like once you get inside, you'll notice that there's clearly advanced like amenities at the very least. Like she's probably a little bit beat up on the outside. Don't get a whole lot of chances to do a lot of cosmetic work on her, but she's clearly well loved.
There's no way Bina has ever been in a ship like this, so as we're running towards it, anyone within like 5 feet just feels waves of delight coming off of her.
Yeah, there's a couple more
Aw,
crew members
that's
around the
lovely.
base of the loading ramp as you run up. A couple of they're just sort of basically they just seem to be sort of shooting the shit there as they're just talking, and they see you coming and they're like, hey, whoa, hey, wait, and Lash just as they pull up weapons, like level them directly at you, Desiree. Then Lash just steps in front of you and she says, take those weapons out of the captain's face. And they just, both of them look at each other confused, and they say, but I thought that you, and Lash says, you're not paid to think. As they both
Ooh.
look at each other and just say, right, welcome back, Captain. Neither of them are meeting your eyes as they're just sort of like looking down.
I say that one of them's Kieran, and I just grab him by the shirt and I say, it's good to see you, and I kiss him and I throw him back.
Yeah, he goes, oh, yeah, good to see. What is happening? Lash says, well, I'll explain on the way. And as the rest of you load up,
They're like, who are these weirdos with them?
yeah.
Now we're the stragglers that are getting picked
You're the
up.
stragglers.
Hey.
Yeah, you'll load up, and who's piloting the ship?
Can I?
Absolutely. You know what? I think I killed my pilot back there, so we do need someone to.
Show me the bridge.
Orie turns and looks at you, Bina, and just like eyes as wide as saucers. She goes, "Oh, shotgun." As the two.
The bridge is clearly like, obviously there's a pilot chair, but there looks like there's like the captain's chair that's in the center is basically a throne. Like it's plush and it's lavish and it's like over the top. And as Desiree
Good.
sits in it, she sits in it sideways, with her feet up on one of them.
Good.
All right.
Give me the pilot's chair.
So, Bina, it takes you like just mere seconds to just quickly familiarize yourself with what's happening here as you get behind the unfamiliar controls. The ship begins taking off, and at this point you notice that the hangar bay doors are still closed, but before you're able to say anything, Lash is already like on the gun and just fires a spray into the doors as they just like burst open.
Oh yeah, spiral through the debris. Like we're not gonna scratch on the ship during my piloting. Huh?
Yeah, you watch as the doors just burst open and you just zoom out through the inelegant opening in the hangar bay doors.
Sorry, quickly, is this smaller or about like size scale to Awakener?
It's a little smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean
Fun.
it's smaller but much more cramped. There's not as many
Yeah.
big open spaces in it as it's designed to be. It's a military vessel essentially,
Yes.
so it's much more cramped. And it can fit way more personnel, but it is like a much bigger crew. But it is
Cool.
it's basically within the same size category as Awakener, but just the slightest bit smaller. Yeah, taking off. You can see the sensor blip as Awakener kind of rides up in your in your wake, and you hear Orie, who has basically like nonstop been talking and like communicating with
yeah.
Rukk. He goes and just like giving you like the blow by blow. He says, "All right, he's made it on board. All right, and all right, everything's good. It looks like here they come. They're following us." As you make your way off this moon, I would imagine that there's a sort of a scene of Damian Ellis just sort of standing out on one of the platforms watching both ships just going off into atmosphere as he's just like staring up, just watching as you disappear. we're gonna go ahead and cut to just our final scene of tonight's episode. A ways away with the Siren's Lament and Awakener docked to each other via docking corridor, just sort of drifting in space. You meet up once again on Awakener with all of you, Captain Desiree and Lash present, as you're all just sort of standing in the hold. Lash is just sort of not nervously, but just sort of
Intrigued.
yeah, just more just sort of like on her guard, just sort of looking around. And as you all gather, Jade is just sort of sitting in there with Alma, they've come to sort of greet you as you rejoined them. You can see as Mason, still with the artifact under his arm, you make your way back on board. And Alma says, "So, looks like it went well, if not smoothly."
No hitches. What? Nope. I can't even pretend. It was a lot. We got a lot to fill you in on. We probably exposit the events of tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, you basically exposit and you catch up, and
Like it takes a while. I think it's a pretty dramatic retelling.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. Jade's eyes getting progressively wider and wider throughout the whole story.
And then Dean showed up.
Yeah.
As people react, Bina reacts like big with them, like it's like a feedback loop of.
Yeah. So as you kind of finish your story, your retelling, Jade just goes, "Wow. You think I can come on one of these things someday?"
I mean, yeah, probably. Bina kind of like looks at everybody because that sentiment might not be shared, but Bina thinks he can.
Maybe another one with a little bit less.
Oh, not this one.
High level criminal with guns. If those people aren't involved, then yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll take it. And he just sort of settles back and just sort of grinning at Alma, who just shakes her head and just smiles. Says,
Is it like an "I told you so" smile, or like just like a
no, just like
pleased with himself?
yeah. Lash just says, "Well, Captain, what's next?"
I think next, Orie, Rukk, you all are in need of a ship?
Orie and Rukk look at each other, and Orie says, "We might be a little bit interested. I do have some piloting experience, and it's last I heard, I think you are out one pilot."
We are indeed. So I think we have some space to explore and some materials to repurpose.
Well, as it happens, and he shakes the essentially the cube, the black box. He says, "As it so happens, I happen to know where we might be able to find some."
I'm going to turn to everyone else and say, you all got me my ship back. Thank you. Even though you apparently didn't destroy that colony, you pulled off a pretty serious heist. I'd say that makes you criminals. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
We owe a lot of it to you. Just give us a call next time you're marooned on a desert planet, and we'll come pick you up in return for some more help.
I know who to call. And if any more heists or prison breaks, call me up.
Oh yeah, could definitely use that spin kick in our next fight.
Bet you could.
It's great meeting you, Captain.
And I bow to everyone, and I turn to Lash and I say, "Come on, Lash. Let's go find ourselves that horizon."
Right behind you, Captain. And she just sort of turns and looks at the rest of you and just says, "I don't know any of you." And she just turns and just leaves.
Fair point. Yeah.
I say, I'm.
Pat you on the elbow.
Orie starts looking around at all of you, turns to follow, and then just says, "Right, all well. I must say this has been one of the more eventful several days of my life. Thank you for that, and thank you for this. This is this is big."
Thank you for. And she points it. I'm assuming Mason's still holding it.
Oh yeah. He hasn't
We
let
wouldn't
it go.
even know where to start.
Right. Well, take care of yourselves. It's a big galaxy out there. Lots of dangerous things. Plenty
Jane
of.
will hold out two right arms to like double forearm clasp with them to like a little handshake.
Yeah. And Rukk says, "Thanks." Says, we couldn't have done this without you. Let us know if you need anything. Ever. Any contacts, any information. We'll see what we can do.
We'll keep that in mind.
All right. Orie says, "Right. Well, guess we best be off." I think I was just starting to like this place too. Oh well. And the two of them turn, and you can see they're just making their way back down the docking corridor towards the Siren's Lament, following Captain Desiree and Lash.
Tell Dark Space we say hi.
As the door closes behind them, the decoupling sequences begin as both ships drift apart and take off in separate directions. As you all kind of standing there, just sort of silently, just as people do in the wake of high intense activity, you're sort of sitting there, just sort of taking it in. And Jade goes, "Oh, I almost forgot. We got a message from Wire while you were gone. She says to get back to her as soon as you can. I think she said something about maybe having a lead. Not sure.
Good.
She
We
wasn't
have a
very
lot to fill
specific.
her on into.
Leads are good.
Alma just says, "Right, but before anything, could you all please do me a favor? Just take a break. Sleep."
I think we could do that.
Good.
I just need a safe place to get rid of this thing for now.
Oh, we need containment for that immediately. Actually, we can't take a nap. He's gonna walk down to like medbay and get Abra. Be like, we need to contain this. The people on our crew are.
Alma
I'll make some coffee.
Yeah, Alma's eyes just sort of close as she like makes eye contact with Peach and just shakes her head.
You just walking down the hall, you can hear echo. Abriel, okay, I know you. Oh, I'm sorry, you're asleep. Okay, it's okay, it's important though. I need you.
If it ever gets really desperate, call me.
Bina, was that 2 sugars or 1?
2, please.
From like 2, please. Down the hallway.
She just turns
I
back.
don't even think I'd be able to stop them right now.
All right. Well, I guess I better get us somewhere safe. And she makes her way towards the cockpit. As Awakener moves off to her next destination. That's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Wow.
We're all alive. I'm down to half on all my pools, but we're alive.
You got your shit back.
Worth.
That was sick.
Yeah. All right. Well, good job, everybody. Lily, thank you so much for joining us these last few episodes.
Thank you for having me, guys. This was so much fun.
Oh, so fun to have you here.
I think so before we go, one thing that I will say is I believe this is going to come as a surprise to some of the people in the group here, but I think next week we're still going to have Ramblemancy later this week on Friday. John and I are also planning something fun for Saturday. we've got some ideas for something that we're gonna do on Saturday. But next week, Rule of Lore is gonna take a dark week, so we're not gonna stream anything next week because we realized recently that we haven't taken a break of any kind since the holidays. So we're gonna take a week off and just sort of breathe for a while. So this will be, yes, Geek Outs recharge, exactly. So
Absolutely.
so we're gonna do that next week, but so it'll be a couple weeks before you see the crew of Awakener again. But yeah, all right. But we'll still have the rest of this week's programming, so keep an eye out for those things, for that information. Henry, if you wouldn't mind getting us our end of stream stuff.
Oh yeah, let me just slap down some quick announcements. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around with us. We went over a little bit. If there's anybody still here from the raid, thank you so much for showing up in
Yeah,
force.
thank
We're
you.
so
Hey,
we had a lot of
Whimsies.
fun. We had a lot of fun. We hope you did too. We have a Patreon. I'm going to list this real quick. We have a coffee. If you want to watch Rule of Lore in not live but in another format, you can. Did I say Rule? I meant Infinite Horizon specifically. You can watch it on YouTube or in podcast form. We have some cool shirts and such and mugs. Oh, look, we have them to display. I've got a mug. Freeman's got the shirt on, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
If you'd like to rep Rule of Lore and Infinite Horizon stuff. And we have a Discord where you can come hang out, talk about whatever the heck you want, talk about our shows. I think Caitlin posted the picture of our formal wear in the Infinite Horizon channel.
Mhm.
So
Oh.
if the few seconds it was on screen wasn't
But just
enough
for
for you,
those-
I know.
I'm throwing it up again right now. So
Oh, good.
Good.
Oh, perfect.
Good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, let's see. I think thank you everybody so much for being here and doing this with us. Let's see. Just real quick, last week we ran a fundraiser for the Bail Project for protesters and in support of all pursuing equity and Black Lives Matter and all that. And people, I feel like it's already starting to fall off of the face of importance. So thank you for being here with us, but support Black creators, listen to Black voices, sign petitions, donate to bail funds if you can. There's a link for a bunch of other stuff to do. And
If you're protesting, wear masks,
Yes,
drink
exactly,
so much water.
and
It's been
protest,
so
too.
hot. It's been really hot in a lot of places lately. Take care of yourselves.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, everybody. We're gonna go. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you later in the week, and we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night,
Good night,
everybody. Good night, and
Good night, everybody.
zone.